Hey, hi. Are we live? Is this live? Are we living? Is this existence? Is this what it feels like to be alive, guys? Hi, good morning, everyone. I hope everybody is good. Sorry for the delay. We are just waiting for our guests to show up who are in a shoot. So, hence the delay from their end. So, I'm just going to start off and kill some time before they arrive. So, you will just have to bear with my existence for about whatever, 10 minutes, I think. Good morning to everybody. I hope everybody is good. Oh, new members, man! Lots of new members. How nice! What a nice life. Abhinav Chitre upgraded membership to level 2. Awesome, man. Abhinav, very nice of you. Roshan Rutre, welcome to level 1. Abhinav Chitre went from level 1 straight to level 2. What a champ, man. Good guy. Um, by the way, I just want to tell members that on tomorrow, which is Monday, we had scheduled an open mic. I'm just going to announce whether it's going to happen or no. Let me know in the comments if you guys want to have the open mic or no. Are they, guys, the stream started. Yes, the stream started, Akshay K. It has started. Let's make it 500. If you're watching right now, please make it 500. Also, just want to say we're trying this thing with the members only chat, but everybody else can join. Just trying it. So if you want to have your thing read out, you can either do it on super chat or you can do it on as a member. Members are very cheap. Yeah, it's very sasta. It's 159 rupees. Yeah, okay. Ashutosh Mohapatra. Okay, so we on Monday we have open mic happening, and which is tomorrow at 8 p.m. for members, which is for level 3 members. So if you become a level 3 member, you can. And again, if you want to be part of today's chat, become a member or use super chat, and we'll do it. Jaby Koay and Achara Kirk will be joining us shortly. They're in a shoot right now. Is why they are little late. So just adjust life. Okay, cool guys. Apna time aa gaya, says Akhil Pisharodi, and Yash Agarwala has used a very weird emoji of mine. Just a couple of things I want to announce before I begin. One is that tonight, which is at 5 p.m. IST, I'm doing a show of traveling pants, which you can watch from anywhere on the globe. This globe of us. So whether you're in Hong Kong or Singapore or Dubai or wherever, we just decided to do an international show. So that's happening at 5 p.m. IST. So just adjust according to your time code. It's going to be at least like I think it's going to be 1.5 to 2 hours of stand up plus meet and greets and stuff like that, which is really good fun. Tickets are on sorabpanth.com. So yeah, just wanted to do one which is for the international audiences. So feel free to buy tickets on sorabpanth.com and come see the show. I know a lot of people's OCDs are kicking in. I don't even think it's OCD. I think it's just like aesthetics. Like this looks bad. There's no OCD involved in this. I will shut the cupboard door in like 2 seconds. Uh, I know we've been a bit inconsistent for the last week. Basically, from Tuesday onwards, we're going to resume normal functions. And Tuesday, we're going to have another standard IPL sort of thing, which is going to be happening. I'll announce the people shortly. Um, Sorry, Achara is calling me. Niharika, can you just ping her that we are already live? So yeah. Okay. Um, there's a couple of more things I have to announce. Just the people, a few names of people who supported us on PayPal and Instamojo. If you enjoy this podcast, you can do that. You can just give directly on Instamojo and on Papal. Papul! Papul! So yeah, I'll just read out a couple of people who have sort of done that and been very kind and gentle and generous with their lives. And just again, if you've joined the show, we're just going to start in exactly 5 minutes. Achara and JB were just in a shoot, so that's why. Thanks for Instamojo to Praveen Surendra, who says, who gave money for Wake Up with Sorabh episodes. Thanks a lot. Bhanu Prasad, thanks a lot again. And Sandeep, good going on the shows on Instamojo. Thanks a lot to Sandeep. Great work with the podcast. Sagar, thank you so much to you as well. And Radhe Gil Dial, lovely surname. Contribution again on Instamojo. Really appreciate it. Your kind-hearted soul, and God will bless you with all the sensual needs that you require in existence and more, multiplied by 5. So yeah, by the way, keep giving suggestions for what guests you'd like to see in the long run. I will try and arrange for people if I'm in touch with them. Not a problem at all. Hello to all the new members. Austin Saldana has given the first super chat for today. Big fan of Saurabh Pant. and Jaby Koay and Achara Kirk. Thanks a lot, man. Really sweet of you. Really kind of you. Really gentle of you. You know, really gentle. I think JB is here as well. Oh, you guys are okay. They're in the waiting room. Okay. I think Niharika will let them in 2 seconds. Justin Matthew, welcome to level 1 as well. Okay, last two people, I'll say thanks a lot on PayPal to Suchitra Deshpande. Thank you so much. A very nice person. Haha, dollars wala, paisa mila, PayPal mein. Arya Paturkar, thank you so much. Brian Hackinto Pereira. Thank you so much to these three people who donated on PayPal. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm not going to waste any time. Let's bring on our guests for today. You see them on reaction videos across the globe. Niharika, please let them in. Niharika, I urge you, Niharika.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi, you guys are together. This is amazing.
Can you hear us?
Yes, loud and clear. I'm going to shut my cupboard just for aesthetic value.
And you can see us just fine.
Yeah, we can see you fine. This,
I'm so sorry about the delay, man. I got confused because of Indian Standard Time and American time. I was like, wait, we said like 10:30, right? And I forgot that it's 10:30 Indian time. I'm like so confused.
You know what? This is not the first time that this has happened. I think I scheduled a day with a stand-up comedian who I really admire, and it didn't happen because we both got confused about the international this thing, and then he started touring, so I missed out on that. So in my head, I was like, "Hey man, I'll do 1.5 hours myself." Oh, dude, cool mug and all. Hi, Achara. How's life?
Good. Yeah. How are you doing?
All good. I'm just I'm good. You guys look like you were shooting some gaming segment. Is that what it was?
No. We were shooting a watch along to Made in Heaven. Let me just zoom in a little bit more so it's tighter on our faces. Let's see. Let's try that. Is that too tight? Try to scoot closer to me, please.
There we go.
That's all good. It was good in the first place, also. By the way, this this looks like you guys are about to sell me something on a call center right now. It's like,
yeah, we are.
Would you like to buy one episode of Made in Heaven? Yes, I am interested.
Is this going on YouTube or is this going on Instagram?
It's going on YouTube. This is on YouTube.
Okay.
We have
cool.
Quite a few people watching. I've not seen the numbers yet. But how do you do a watch along of Made in Heaven? It's how does that happen?
So we record our reaction, and then so we share the full thing on our Patreon, but we don't show the episode, so people have to actually have an Amazon subscription or a Netflix subscription to whatever we're watching, so it's still like within copyright rules, but you can like sync it up so you're like watching it at the same time as us for longer full length content. Yeah,
because that's been the debate for everybody, right? Which is about the copyright stuff. Like we've been trying to figure out, like every Indian comedian has tried to figure out how to do the same thing for IPL.
IPL is kind of the worst because like the Indian Cricket Board or whatever gave us our first copyright strike, and since then we're like, we don't want to touch anything cricket related because we're just afraid that they're going to come for us again. So.
But what is the copyright strike for? Like, what did you guys do?
We did a Sachin Tendulkar's farewell speech, and then it got a copyright strike. And since then, we were like, although lots of channels do cricket-related stuff, so we're not sure like how to figure out what's okay and what's not. So we're just like, we just want to do it.
I'm trying to put a post on my YouTube channel at the same time so that people know to come check this out. Let me see.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that is really cool of you, man. But yeah, we got IPL. So the big debate has been that Angad, the friend of mine who's a comedian, the big debate between us was that can you even put IPL in the title of a video? Like if you're going live as a YouTube live, can you put IPL in the title? Because it's become apparently one of those things where if you do it repeatedly, then they might send you a copyright strike. So far I've done 2 of them, and I'm just like, let's see what happens.
You've gotten 2 copyright strikes?
I haven't got yet. I haven't got anything.
Okay. You just you made 2 videos. Gotcha.
Yeah. Just commenting on it. By the
That
way, lots of people commenting. Ashutosh Mahapatra, love emojis. Do add more to me. Subh Hasmit Gupta says you should ask JB and Achara about your God clip. I've already seen that video. It's fun. Akhil Pisharodi, hey, JB Koay is what he says. Yash Agarwal
hey.
says perfection and cupboard. The big debate on my YouTube lives is about my cupboard always being open. It's a thing just to annoy people. Uh,
Oh.
What's in the cupboard?
Nothing. It's always open. So people are like, "Hey, my OCD is acting up. Please shut your cupboard, yeah." It's one of those things.
Oh. You should just leave
Yeah.
it open just to piss people off.
I did that, and then I started seeing the frame, and it started pissing me off later on. I was like, other people are fine. I don't want to piss myself off.
So this is
Justin, sorry. Yeah.
this is public, right? It's not just members, it's public for everybody.
We've just kept
we're
a
we're
members only chat for the first time. That's all. Anyone
Gotcha.
can watch it. Yeah.
Anyone can watch it. Okay, cool. Just making
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So let me I'm just
we're live right now, Jaby
No, I know we're
Koay.
live. I'm trying to send a live link to the audience so they can see it.
Oh.
Yeah, so they can watch too.
See, this is all techniques. I see it. So how is Made in Heaven season 2, by the way?
Oh, it's season 1.
Oh, yeah,
I
watching
don't think
season
there,
1.
I
Okay.
don't think there is a season 2 yet.
Isn't there? I
well,
thought there's something. Yeah.
There might be there's a Mirzapur season 2 coming,
Yeah.
but there's not. I don't think there's a Made in Heaven season 2 yet. Okay, here we go. Why is of course the photo that I want to put of you is not working. That's cute.
Technology.
You know what? I just finished watching though. Which I rarely do. I rarely binge watch anything because I have children running around my house all the time. But I
Yeah.
finally got my kids were away for one day, and in that day I watched 7 episodes of The Boys. And
We haven't
I
even
was
watched
like,
The Boys yet, but we
oh,
heard
it's
it's really
great.
good.
Yeah, it's one of those shows where the reason I enjoyed it was because after watching enough fiction, you start getting used to formats a little bit. And
Yeah.
so far, I've not been I've been relatively surprised with every twist. It's not been like,
Okay.
oh yeah, I saw this coming a mile away. So and it's also very funny, like really dark, needlessly and fun. So I fully binged it. I watched like whatever season 2 got done right now, and I finished it. Quite nice. It was good fun.
Wow.
Did you ever watch the show Last Comic Standing?
Yeah.
So on that show, I remember on one of the episodes there was this tiff between a couple of the comedians. I think it was a Vietnamese comedian who actually won the entire show, but there was an episode where they were picking on him because he reserves his comedy for the stage for certain moments, and there's one other older comedian who was like, "No, you're supposed to be always on. You're always on." And so it makes me wonder every time I talk to a comedian, like, are you always on, or do you kind of reserve it? Because like in my hanging out with comedians, I have found that a lot of the stand-up comedians I talk to, they're actually not like off stage. They're very like somber and very quiet and not the most like jovial people when the camera's not on them, when they're not on the stage.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It depends on a personality trait and also depends on like, so for example in this, like, because I'm doing a 2-hour live 4 times a week, if I'm constantly on, people will be like, dude, just shut the fuck up. Like, this is too much. Like, just enough with the attempts at the jokes. Because I think I was sort of mathematically quantify this, and I figured out that essentially as a comedian or as any kind of person, you make a lot of jokes in a day. It's not like all of them are going to be good. Like maybe 12% of them are good. So the remaining 88% people are like, dude, just, that 88% really pissed them off. So you have to sort of figure it out. But I remember that, that story that you just mentioned, so interesting that you mentioned that last comic standing one. Because that guy won on a sympathy vote almost. Because he was sort of, I think, doing jokes where comedians were judging them. And I think one of the guys, and I don't know why I know this all about the US comedy scene relatively decently. I think he's part of the New York comedy fraternity. And he used to hang out with like Patrice O'Neill and all these guys who I genuinely admire. And he used to look down on this guy because his material was quote unquote pandering to the crowd. And it's the first time I think I remember seeing somebody win almost an election on a sympathy vote. Like it was literally because they were bullying him so much and people were just getting pissed off with this guy being bullied constantly that they're like, fuck you, we can't, this is not okay. But yeah, to answer your question about comedians being on and off, it depends on what the format is. But yeah, you can't be that way all day. It's impossible.
Right. No, because I've had stand-up comics come on my YouTube channel,
Yeah.
and I'm always expecting it's going to be like fun. And I find that every time I bring a stand-up comic on, they're like so serious. I'm like, what the hell? Who is this person? Like, I thought you were a funny guy. It's like, it's if it's not a scene, if it's not a mic, they're not like that person. It's the weirdest
Yeah.
thing I've ever like come to discover. You know, like if you're doing rehearsed material, there's one guy I know. I haven't had him on my channel, but I've worked with him a bunch. He is very eloquent when he's doing stand-up comedy. But if it's just me and him talking, he's constantly like trying to get like words out with the word like over and over again. I'm like, dude, get a sentence out, man. Are you Ross? Like, get a sentence out. He's not. It's just so strange the dichotomy of personality when you're on stage versus not. I just find that fascinating. You know,
We need names. No.
they're not
Give
anyone.
us his name or her name.
So,
Yeah,
for you, go ahead. You go ahead.
Comedians tend to be anyway. So I want to talk to you guys about stock tips that I have. Okay, and I want to talk about the rainforest. Okay, the precipitation in the current Amazonian forest is declining from 77 to 68. Let me read out more stats for you guys. Sorry, I'm just trying to be as boring as possible. See, that was the 88% that was funny in my head and not outside.
Constantly testing material, just constant.
Gotta.
So what I wanted to ask you is, for you, like, is the stage with the crowd of people, is that like a very comfortable place? Or like, are you more comfortable there, or are you more comfortable talking to like a few people?
I mean, as a comedian, what tends to happen? I had a bit of an epiphany was it last year or this year? I've forgotten when. I think last year I took a very conscious 3 month break from stand up because I was beginning to. It was stressing me out a lot because it was about the end goal as opposed to the process, and that started really irritating me. Where I'm like, the reason I got into this was because I love testing out jokes and all that kind of stuff. So I took a 3 month break and I started watching stand up. And some of the revelations that I had was that most of the time when you're doing open mic night where you're testing out material, there's not many people. There's like 12 or 16 people if you're doing it pretty much every day or whatever it was. And I started noticing that when I was in the crowd of 12 to 16 people, the pressure was on the crowd more than the audience, more than the comedian.
Right.
Because you're like, dude, I've invested money and I want this to work, and there's just such few people. So I'm like, should I laugh? And then that stress sort of makes it like. So I started realizing that every time a comedian came on stage and said, hey, this is really not working out tonight, this crowd really sucks, I was like, shut the fuck up and tell me a joke. Stop complaining about the crowd. We've taken time out of our day to come see you. Just do your joke. So saying that once maybe is fine and twice doing the joke. But back-to-back comedians constantly saying that it's not working was started pissing me off as an audience member. And also the revelation that small crowds doesn't really matter. So if you're asking about performing for a small crowd versus a large crowd, I started enjoying the intimacy of it a lot more. Like I did a show for 4 people. I was doing a late night show and just 4 people showed up. And usually I would be very intimidated by that. And I had a ball because I literally outsourced jokes from them. Because they happened to be doctors. And 3 of them were doctors, and I had a whole set about doctors. So I'm like, does this happen to you? Does this happen to you? They're like, no, let us tell you more. So I got more jokes from them. I'm like, this is perfect. So yeah,
Wow.
it depends on the kind of show that happens. Like I've slowly started enjoying the Zoom shows a lot. Like the Zoom stand-up
wow.
shows have suddenly become fun. Because I started doing a meet and greet after the bit, and I had a whole set which had written about a very controversial topic that I don't even want to say in a live because out of context everything goes whatever. And I
Oh,
did a meet
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
greet after the show, and the audience of about 30 odd people discussed that set with me, and they told me and explained to me very kindly and nicely why it didn't work. And I was like, shit, I should do this for all my shows, man. This is perfect. So, yeah.
You really think so? You think that
Yeah.
that feedback will help you like construct better jokes and stuff like that?
So have you guys seen there's a video that is obviously one of those illegal videos of Dave Chappelle performing stand up for 4.5 hours.
Oh, I
Right?
didn't see
If
the
you
I didn't see
Oh
I didn't see the
no, I
video,
haven't
but
seen.
like I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. So if you've seen that clip, it's just him doing probably 20% of content, and the rest is just talking to the crowd. And it's 4.5 hours. So I'm like, you're a great comedian, but this is 4.5 hours. Right? And so I watched it in like across a week just as an experiment to see how it panned out. And I think what he was trying to do was roughly the same thing, which is to try and outsource sort of reaction as well as thoughts, which I thought
Mhm.
was a very interesting format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But how are you guys
when you
doing? Yeah,
we're
oh yeah,
doing
sorry, yeah, no,
fantastic.
please go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
No, no, I was just gonna ask you because like when you're doing your stand up with like the big crowds and stuff, like when you did the Fairness Cream bit, because obviously I haven't seen like I don't know how long is your stand up? Is it like an hour long thing or is it just like a small thing with other comedians?
It depends on how self-indulgent I want to be that day.
Okay. So
So,
when you have a large crowd, like when you're going up on the stage, what's that feeling like getting up to the stage? Because I imagine once you're up there, you get comfortable.
Do you
yeah.
ever?
But like, what's the
But
feeling leading up to?
do you ever is an interesting thing because I think it is the reason why you need to feel the nerves, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Because it needs to mean something. Otherwise, what's the whole point of this entire exercise? And I love the like I'm and now that you've asked this question, I'm nostalgic about the big crowd shows because it's probably like 6 months away at least at a minimum,
Yeah.
if not more.
Yeah.
Do those shows, man? Fuck, man. The craziest thing about those shows is that um, if you haven't done stand up for say a month and you get on stage like that, you're obviously nervous because you haven't done like 300 plus 1,000 people, whatever it was. And then the first laugh that hits you, it's like it's the surfing wave of laughter, right? Because it doesn't come, it rarely comes as one unit. It's always it's that very strange thing, and also you can sense the removal of tension from not only you but also the audience,
Right.
right? Because you've come in and you've again taken time out of your day and you've decided to invest time, and that first laughter, you're like, thank God this might be worth it. So I remember I was opening for Veer. I've said this story before. The first time I decided that I'm going to be a comedian for perpetuity. I was doing a
Uh-huh.
show. I think I had opened for Veer in 2008, and back to back I'd done about 9 shows, and I had eaten shit in 9 shows. And Veer was performing for big audiences even then, like right from the get go. And
Veer
as a comedian,
Das?
what happens is that, yeah, Veer does, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
Well, he wasn't the comedian you were talking about earlier, right?
No.
no.
No. No. No. No. No. No.
Uh,
There's the thing up. No. Up. Up. There we go. Sorry. So you were opening for Verdas. That was I missed the end of the story. Go ahead.
so he used to open. He used to have these big shows, and I was doing stand up for the first time. And you rarely get the chance to straight away go and perform for a massive crowd the first time you've done stand up. So the first time I was supposed to do 10 minutes, I did four. I did my entire 10 minute set in 4 minutes because I was so nervous. I was like, guys, everybody feeling good? Okay, like, yeah, listen, India TV. Anybody watches India TV here? No, no, nobody. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I was watching Baywatch the other day, and it's just people are like, dude, slow down for a second. And that happened for 9 shows where I just ate shit. And I was like really fucking miserable about it because it happened across like 4 or 5 months. And then I did a show at this place called the Tata Theatre in Mumbai, and
Huh.
it's like an indoor amphitheater. So the stage is here and the seating goes upwards like that. And I realized that that's the perfect room for stand up because you feel like a gladiator in any case, just getting on that stage, and people are every single seat can hear you clearly, even without the audio equipment and all that shit. So I remember I
Wow.
did my set, I did my first joke, and I waited, and then the laughter came like waves from up to down, and I was like, "Fuck!" And I get goosebumps every time I think about that bit because I remember there were moments where you're emotionally overwhelmed by the situation because you're like, this feeling is something I want to keep feeling for the rest of my life. And I remember I got done with that set after literally having a miserable time for 6 months. I went back to the green room and I started weeping randomly, which is very weird. I don't think that's ever happened for me in
Wow.
any situation because it was just an
Mm.
overwhelming this thing of emotion. And at that point, I was like, this is it, man. This is what I want to do. But yeah.
Yeah. What's the name of that place where you performed with the stadium seating?
The
It's
Tata
it's
Theatre?
an amphitheater seating. It's called the Tata Theatre in NCP in Mumbai. So yeah.
It's the way
Uh,
you made the way you describe it. It almost sounds like the Walt Disney Concert Hall. I was told the way it's designed, it's like no matter where you sit in that theater, you can hear the whatever's being performed perfectly. So, anyway, fun fact.
Yeah, I mean the mechanics and the science of creating a hall.
Yeah.
I'm just always fascinated by the reason why they decided to use wood versus whatever.
Yeah.
Is crazy. But let's talk about you guys. By the way, I got to talk about JB. The backflips I was seeing again on Instagram, and I'm like, congrats on the backflip, dude. I saw the backflip with your close friend Tiger Shroff commenting, and I was like, damn.
Yeah. I get very, very nervous every time he likes my posts or comments on my posts. I'm just like, why are you doing this, man? Like it's like, I can't, I don't know how to describe it. It's like if I threw a kick and had that on Instagram and then Bruce Lee commented on it saying, nice kick, I'd be like, it is Bruce Lee. Like, what are you doing? Like, you trying to make me feel bad? What are you doing?
He's just trying to support you.
No, because he's awesome. The thing is, like, I look up to Tiger as just like, damn, like he's amazing. And he's going, oh, you got really good kicks. I'm like, don't do that. Because he's being genuine, but I can't help the feeling that I'm being patronized, even though I'm not being patronized.
No, I think he's genuinely being nice.
I know he's genuinely being nice. He's a good dude. I'm like, but please don't. Like, I'm embarrassed because like you're amazing, and I'm like, pedestrian comparatively.
But you got power in your kicks.
Yeah.
Like if you kick someone, they'd get hurt for sure.
Achara's just saying that because I kicked her once. I'm just joking. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I think I have to mention, like, I was just joking, guys. Everybody relax.
Chill, guys.
Yeah, the backflip, like there are certain flips that are just basic fundamentals that you learn when you start out. And I've been just trying to keep that as I get older, because like there's the back handspring where you flip with your hands. There's the back tuck where you flip without your hands. There's the front flip. Like there's just basic flips where if you can still do them as you get closer and closer to death, then that's great, like that, because there's some really advanced tricks where I'm like, yeah, I just shouldn't tempt it anymore, because you can get hurt and it can set you, the older you get, the longer your healing period is, and that's just not fun. And so like even with weight training, it's the same thing. I'm not trying to push heavy weights anymore, because if I pop something out or like I tear a muscle, that's just, I'm not in my early 20s anymore. So there's no need to chance setting myself back for 6 months,
So yeah, Achara, what is the thing that you do which is equivalent to JB's backflip?
She can sing.
I can flip an omelet.
She can.
She's I don't do that stuff.
She knows how to discreetly fart.
Nice. See, Tiger Shroff never comments on that. He's just. I mean, this is fucked up. He's like, dude, that was so slyly done. Good job.
He doesn't know. That's the thing.
I'm convinced. I'm genuinely convinced that women actually fart more than men. They're just better at hiding it.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's Google this.
I would say that about 90% of the time you didn't even know.
Yeah. No, because like I don't want to name any names, but like, okay, there's a couple that I'm very, very close to, and I used to work out with them, and she would just like run and fart sometimes and then come back to exercise, and I didn't know what she was doing. For the longest time, I was like, why are you always going to that corner? Like, what's over there? And then one day, the male component of that couple happened to be over there, and he goes, damn, bitch. He runs away because she forgot that he was there.
Oh shit.
And so now I'm just genuinely convinced that women just always fart more than men, and we just don't know it. Men are just oblivious because we do it once out loud a day, and women are like, you're so gross.
Yeah.
Hypocrites.
No. Well, you need to hang out with my mom more. Then you'll know.
Achara's got acting chops.
Yeah, but by the way, I just want to clarify this. The average person produces about half a liter of farts per day. Dude, who the fuck is quantifying this in liters?
How do they know? How do they even know? Who's measuring that?
You know what's crazy is if we could just find a way to harness our farts, we could have like a cleaner atmosphere.
Cleaner?
Yeah, because like cows, humans, we fart so much, it's just polluting the atmosphere. It's making things worse. We could use it for energy. There's got to be a way to harness that.
For sure. farts for
Like
energy.
at least like a light bulb or something. Like I think if you like if you had an adult diaper which was sort of like a solar energy panel kind of thing where throughout the day
It just like
where
charges
everybody
your phone.
yeah yeah. It's like a power bank in your ass. That's
It's
it's
really it's genuinely a butt plug.
Yeah, genuinely.
it's like, hey, are you into pegging? Yeah, no, I'm into charging my phone. This is what I do.
That'd be crazy. I
Yeah.
feel like that's the
Um,
future. It's coming. It's coming at some point.
Yeah.
So no, but you got your skills.
Yeah.
You, Achara can sing. Actually, she sings a lot better than she gives herself credit for.
Yeah, I just tend to not do it that much. I sing for people on the live chats when they donate substantial sums of money. I'll sing a song, but like nothing rhymes and it sounds terrible. But sometimes it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She can also dance really well.
See, this is why you like Bollywood. This makes perfect sense right now. It's like you like to sing and you like to dance really well. It's perfect.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I'm going to read a couple of super chats.
Yes.
Which is okay. I'll read a couple of member chats first. Yash Agarwal says, "Love you, JB and Achara. Achara is the best at figuring out Indian references and pronunciations. JB has great insights, and his comparisons with American movies and pop culture is amazing."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But I gotta ask you guys: did you expect this to get so big?
No.
Or was it just
No.
like a fun thing?
Well, I started doing it and she joined later on.
Yeah.
Like after about I'd say 8 months is when Achara really became part of the team.
Yeah.
8 months of consistently doing the Indian stuff. For me, I think we sort of talked about this on Instagram. It wasn't something I
Yeah.
was expecting to blow up. It was the thing where I just had a small. Now it seems small. At the time, it seemed big. I had a small
Hmm.
goal. I just wanted to get to 100,000 subscribers. That was it. Like I knew if I could get there, I could make a living off of YouTube. That was my thought. And then it
Yeah.
just exploded in a way that I couldn't have anticipated, and it changed my life. So I didn't know. I just wanted to get by. Like that was it. Like I'm just like I just want to make rent and eat. Like there's just
Yeah.
basics. That's all I care about. I don't want to go back to that job anymore that I hate. I just want to be able to get these basics and keep going. And it exploded in a way that yeah, it just changed my life in the best of ways possible. So
Yeah.
and then Achara came on. So Achara was a guest one or two times,
Yeah, about
and
twice.
and she's like, I love doing these. I love doing these reactions. And I thought she was just bullshitting because she's just a genuinely enthusiastic person about lots of things.
Yeah.
So I thought that she was just generic enthusiasm that was just being applied to this situation as well. But it
Yeah.
turned out like she genuinely meant it because she's stuck around the longest more than anybody else.
Yeah. Because you can deal with my farts and I can
Yeah.
deal with you. So
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah. I mean, you're an energy producer. Is the way to look at this now. I'm gonna start calling
Yes.
people who fart like energy producer. Half a liter, by the way. I'm still amazed by half a liter. That's gonna carry forward with me for the whole day. It's half a
Half
liter.
a liter.
Yeah.
Are you still okay? I was going to ask you because I see all these
Yeah.
comedians from India getting the Amazon specials and the Netflix specials. When is Sorabh getting his Amazon or Netflix special? Is that
I
coming?
already have two on Amazon actually. I have two specials
do?
on Amazon. Yeah. I have my first one was called "My Baby Thinks I'm Funny," which in 1 hour I think had 15 minutes of good content. There's one
Oh, wow.
story which I'm still proud of, which was a great story which I remember workshopping, and I'm like, this is a great story. And that was generally a good bit. The rest is hit and miss. The second one was called "Make India Great Again," which is a political special that could have been far more. But I had to tone it down because yeah, you can't say a lot of stuff. It's an interesting story, which is that I had a whole set where I'm like, I'm going to get political and I'm going to get hardcore, right?
Mhm.
So I spoke about previous Indian prime ministers and Indian politics and stuff like that. And about a month prior to shooting the special, I thought, let's just record this and show it to my producers to see how this stands. And I recorded and sent it to them, and they're like, yeah, so there are like 17 points where you might get sued. And I'm like, okay, this is not worth me getting sued over. So I just dropped the bits.
Wow.
I dropped like 17 bits out of this special in like in a month sort of read and the whole thing. So, but I have two specials. The second one was actually quite good. I thought it was pretty decent. It wasn't bad. I think again when I did both my specials, it was like because I started so early in stand up in India. I used to release content before workshopping it enough, right? Like
Mm.
as a comedian, you don't release stuff on YouTube until you've done it at least 100 times, because that's how long it takes just to get the beats right and make sure that there's nothing which is unnecessary in it. And I used to release
Right.
stuff after doing it like 15, 20 times. And so that's the format I followed for really long until like 2018 or 19. So
Mm.
every time I meet somebody who says that, hey, I saw your stand up prior to 2017, I'm like, I apologize for everything. It may have sucked. I'm aware of that. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
I do have two specials which are out
So,
there.
what is that process like? Because I am completely oblivious. Like I know producers who have worked with Amazon and Netflix for series, like
Yeah.
narrative shows, but not comedians. And I'm just very curious about like how does that work? And do you see all the stats of like the frequency at which people watch it? Because like YouTube has, as you know, YouTube gives you all the stats so you can see when things are going great or not.
Right.
And
Yeah.
even when things are going great, YouTube has a way of making you feel bad and making you feel guilty about not doing even better. And so I
Yeah.
just wonder if Amazon has some like back end information that they're constantly sending you. Like I don't know how that works. Like what's that like?
It is nothing. It's just I think we've grown to understand as stand-up comedians that it's like I think the first batch of comedians which Amazon had confirmed was I think 13 people, and I was one of them. And even shooting the special itself was like us trying to figure out how do we shoot this, right? Because
Mm.
it's a weird thing where if you're shooting in a small room with 7 cameras, there's an echo involved because you're trying
Oh.
to make it too
Mm,
big, and you don't need to make it that big. If you're shooting in an auditorium, you need to make sure that even the conversation of figuring out do you need audience reactions or no takes days to figure out. Like a lot of comedians, like in the last special that I did, I decided that I'm going to have no audience reactions whatsoever, because you can hear the laughter. You don't need to keep superimposing it with the audience reaction. So the only sort of metric to try and see how well your special did is the kind of the number of DMs you get on Instagram and Twitter and all the rest. That is literally the only metric you have, because they don't share it for whatever reason. And also it depends on whether they ask you for the second or third. So I got
Oh.
asked the second time, and then I think which is the trend across India now, which is that I think people are starting to get more region specific with regards to language, like
Mm.
English and also now you have to pitch specials. It's not about hey, you're so and so, so the special is confirmed. You have to pitch that this is the special. This is about the 45-minute bit that I have ready, and in the next 8 to 9 months, I should have the entire 1 hour, and then Amazon, Netflix, and there's so many players now, as you guys know, which is there's Amazon, there's Netflix, there's Z5. I think Z5 is also trying to get into stand up. Disney Hotstar, I have a feeling is going to commission some stuff soon enough, but no metrics as such. It's literally about vibes. It's like I feel the universe is really responding to this. Yeah. Here's a question to you guys, which is that was there ever a bit which you recorded and you're like, this one's gonna fly, and then nobody watched it, versus the opposite, where you're like, this is dumb, and then significant, because I've noticed that happened to me with clips where you're like, this is has that happened with you guys?
What?
I would say the latter probably happens more. Sometimes we'll shoot something and we're like, meh, like, this is probably
Oh yeah.
whatever. And then it's like a million views later and we're like, oh shit, like
I just
we didn't think that one was gonna like quite
yeah.
kick off like that.
I've just found that YouTube will always surprise you. You can never know what's going to blow up. Like when Priyanka Chopra got engaged to Nick Jonas, a lot of
Yeah.
people were asking for my reaction. I go, okay, that could be that could be interesting. And so I made a video thinking this could blow up, and it fucking did. It was insane. It got 500,000 views that evening, but that
Wow.
was like the most that was and then that was it. Like it's no one watched it after that. But it was still insane the response that it got. And there are instances where I spent a lot of time on a vlog and then no one watches it. I'm like, what the hell? And then I get comments like, do more vlogs, do more vlogs. And I'll throw this one out there thinking no one's gonna watch this, so I don't put as much effort in, and then it explodes. I'm like, why did you guys watch this one over here? Why are you watching that? One of our biggest videos is our Dongal trailer reaction. And
Yeah.
at the time, Achara had been coming on a lot, and I kept saying, joined by my guest, Achara Kirk.
Yeah.
And people kept giving me shit in the comments, going, she's not a guest anymore. She's just part of the channel. And so at the beginning of the Dongal trailer reaction, I go, joined by Achara Kirk. She's not a guest. She's just part of the and it's this long, dumb, endless bit that goes on for 2 minutes introducing Achara Kirk. That video blew up to 4 million views. I'm like, why that one? Why did that one blow up to 4 million views? If I had known that, I wouldn't have done that stupid introduction. Like, there's just no way to know what's going to blow up. We have an interview with Yash, this regional star. I thought that was going to get maybe 50,000 views. That's the most viewed interview on my channel with like we're at 2 million views. I don't know how many views.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of views.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just crazy. You never know what to expect with YouTube.
Yeah.
You can't predict it.
You know, I've completely forgotten something. Talking about repetitive bits that are funny to you as a person, I've completely forgotten, and I apologize to all my viewers out there. It's just something I should have done right up top. I sincerely apologize. I have to ask Achara and JB, where is Salman Khan? I have to ask you, JB, where's Salman Khan? Achara, where is Salman Khan? Please tell us. Please tell us.
For real?
Okay, now I'll
In the
give
woods?
you. In the woods?
Chasing deer? I
Chasing
don't
deer
know.
in the woods. I don't know what the typical joke is. Lawyering up. I don't know.
I'll give you context. Okay, so there's a news anchor called Arnab Goswami.
Yo, I
And
know who
when
he
this
is. Yeah.
whole thing was happening, he did an entire episode where he was just screaming about where is Salman Khan, talking about because he hadn't made any comment about Sushant Singh Rajput. So the entire episode was just him screaming about where is Salman Khan for 45 minutes. And people are like, he's not here, dude. Just he's not here. What do you want from us? So that's that's been the repetition that I always enjoy. By the way, I got to take super. Sorry, yeah.
Do you know the controversy around Arnab right now? What's going on with him?
I think there's something about TRPs. I'm not sure. I've not been following it. They apparently, I really don't know the actual thing, but I think it was about Republic or somebody being accused of manufacturing TRPs or something like that.
Is that views? Or like ratings or
TRPs
something?
is I've forgotten the full form of TRPs. Wait, let me see. This is the full form of TRPs. What does TRP mean? Television rating point is what it is. So basically, it's the same concept as what you have in the US, which is that I think they just go through a few houses and see what the ratings are. And in India, what's been happening is that news channels have been competing on who has the highest TRPs in random sections. So there was a period for about 2 years where every news channel in India was #1 in TRPs but under it there would be asterisks and it would say under sections S and M of ages 16 to 12 and whatever. So everybody claimed to be the #1. So I think the current probe is about them being sort of being alleged of having fake TRPs, and it's also being induced by the Mumbai police and stuff like that. So I don't know what the status of the investigation is.
Oh.
We got a super chat for you, Big Fat Panda, who is a regular on our channel. He's asking, hey Jab, he goes, hey Jabby, does it play in your mind that if you say something bad about Salman or Shahrukh trailer, you're going to get big backlash or going to get back? Oh yeah, he said that. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I misread it, and hence I end up giving a excited or neutral review even when you thought it was not so good. I think I'm pretty honest in my reviews. I do try to steer clear of controversies that I don't understand, like Salman Khan shooting the buck. I don't know the context of that, and I've just never bothered to dive into it. And so when it comes up, I just go and I just move on because I don't know what that story, and I don't want to know that story. I'm like, I'm not trying to take sides on something I don't know about.
Yeah.
So,
but I think also just generally we try and approach things from just like an area of enthusiasm first, rather than like, oh, we're gonna watch something and we're just gonna be ready to shit on it. It's like, okay, like we're really hoping for the best and trying to find the positive, but meanwhile, like if there is some negative stuff, then we'll talk about it too.
The thing that I think a lot of people don't know about Americans is that Americans will like things ironically.
Yeah.
There's a movie called The Room, which is known as the worst movie of all time, but it has a huge fan following over here. right? I don't know if Indians like The Room. I haven't bothered to ask my audience, but so there are instances where a trailer will pop up that is way over the top,
Yeah.
just insane, balls to the wall, nuts,
Madness.
and like me and my guests will love it, and the audience will be like, "How can you love that? It's terrible." It's like, well, to us, it's not. It's actually like a B movie that you'd find over here, insane, but like with higher production value and with music videos, and it's just like ballistic, balls to the wall, insane, and it's fun. So it's just like we have a different sensibility, and I think that some people look at that and they go, "Oh, you're obviously faking it for views," as opposed to understanding that this is a different culture over here, and so we appreciate
Right.
things in a different way.
Yeah, until you watch the movie and then you're like, oh wow, that was a pretty bad movie. But the trailer made it look cool.
It depends.
You know, it
Yeah.
depends. Yeah.
There's a Rajnikant film called Inthiran, which is
Yeah.
just bananas,
Oh yeah.
but I love it. Like it was a fun movie, you know.
Yeah.
So
Oh, dude, you gotta have seen that. I saw that movie in the theater, and it was the first Rajnikant movie I saw in a theater, and I lost my fucking mind. Like that movie in a theater. I think I don't remember if it was in 3D or no, but watching that film in a theater is a completely different experience. Because I saw it later on in whatever the laptop or whatever, didn't really have the same resonance. But in the theater, holy shit, when he becomes 1,000 robots and becomes a giant robot, I swear everybody in the theater was ejaculating at the same time. It was ridiculous. It was just nuts, that movie. And I remember I was watching I think a 10:30 a.m. show or something because I wanted to just get it done within the day. And people are losing their minds, dude. Like it was so that movie by the way, you know the Indian context of the I've seen The Room and I've seen the James Franco the art what is it, the artist,
The
what is the name of the
Disaster
movie?
Artist.
The Disaster Artist.
Yeah.
The Disaster Artist.
It's a great movie, man. So in India, the context is there's two movies which are constantly in the zone of The Room. One is Jani Dushman and the other is Gunda. So two legendary movies. So Jani Dushman basically was a movie which borrowed expensively from like every Hollywood blockbuster out there. So there was a scene about, from the Terminator, from Matrix, from blah blah blah, and it's so convoluted. It's brilliant, and the CGI is horrendous. And so I spoke to Arshad Varsi about this, who and every big time Indian actor from that period was there in that movie. So Arshad Varsi, Akshay Kumar, I think Manisha Koirala, all these guys are there in this movie. And in random interviews, I've been able to figure out that essentially that movie paid for like their house remodeling and stuff like that. So they're like, we have no shame. This paid for school fees for our kids for like 2 years. So fuck you, don't judge us. There's a guy in Gunda called Mukesh Rishi. Okay, and he has a pivotal role in this movie called Gunda, and people recognize him because he's an actor who's actually a good actor, and he keeps getting recognized ironically for the movie Gunda. And my friend met him, Sahil Shah, who's a friend of mine, who's a stand-up comedian, met him at the airport. He's like, Mukesh Rishi, big fan. And can I have a selfie? And Mukesh Rishi like, yes, yes, of course. He's like, I love Gunda. And he's like, dude, the look he gave me. He's like, I've done about 100 films, and this is the shit you remember me for. So, yeah.
Are you a fan of the show Friends?
Yeah, I mean, I watched it recently again after a long time. I loved it when it came out, right? I think a lot of us did. And I watched it recently, and I was like, yeah, a lot of the stuff doesn't land, but that tends to happen with stand-up, with comedy, sorry, where it doesn't. There's very few TV shows that age well, and I still enjoyed it for what it was. And by the way, we've done a whole YouTube live where we spoke about how Indian movie, a Bollywood movie called Avara Pagal Divana is superior to Friends, and it was a 1.5 hour YouTube video. YouTube live where we just spoke about this ironically, and it was great. So yeah, but what about Friends? What about Friends?
So there's this episode where Monica goes on a date with a guy named Chip Matthews that she had a crush on in high school, and she gets to go on a date with him as a grown-up, and it turns out he hasn't really grown up. So anyone who's watched Friends a lot knows that episode. I used to work in casting, auditioning people, and he came in, and I recognize anyone who's been on Friends. Anyone who's been on Friends, I know them, right? I know their faces. And so he came in the room. I'm like, oh my God, you were on Friends. And he looks at me and he goes, yeah, that was like 20 years ago. He was so upset that I recognized him from that show. I'm like, fuck you, guy. Like, no one knows who you are. Get out of here, you asshole. because everyone else I've met from Friends has been really nice to me.
Yeah.
I'm like just like random guest stars, but he was the one that stood out as the jerk.
Yeah, but I mean, why would you not be excited about somebody recognizing you from anywhere? I mean, if it's the biggest thing you've done, right? Like, if I mean, it's fine, right? Even if it's not, maybe you had more expectations from life.
Yeah.
Well, take what you get, right? That's like, I mean, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened to me also with the guy who plays the villain in Ghost. I used to work at a Ghost as a I just dated myself. That's a movie from years ago, but
The Patrick
It's a
Swayze and
classic
Demi Moore
film.
movie.
Patrick
Yeah.
Swayze and
Yeah.
Demi Moore, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I was working at a restaurant in West Hollywood, and celebrities would come through there all the time. Like Lucy Liu came through there. Who's the guy from Super? What's it called? There's a comedy film. The two high school kids.
Oh, super
Super
bad.
bad.
Super bad. The bigger guy.
Jonah
Jonah
Hill.
Hill. He came in through there before he became huge. He was really nice. Lucy Liu was really nice. The girl who plays Jean Grey in the first X-Men movie series was really nice. But that guy comes in, and I go, "Oh yeah, you were the bad guy in Ghost." He goes, "Yeah," and he walks off. He just ghosts me in 2 seconds. I'm like, "Damn." Because he's done a huge body of work since then
Yeah.
as both an actor and a director, and he probably
Yeah.
hates being associated with that movie. But it's like, come on, man, like, come on, like, be nice. Shit,
Just take whatever you get.
you got a question
I
from
want to
Kartik?
see. I want to
Go
see
ahead,
who the villain in Ghost was. By the way, it's so funny. This is why I love India. Okay, so if you Google Ghost, right, you think that the Hollywood classic, right, which is like this very big movie would come. No, the movie that pops in is Vikram Bhatt's Ghost from 2019, which is
Oh.
about some. I want to see. I want to see who the 1990 was Ghost, man. I want to see who
Yeah.
the villain was.
Oh wow.
Tony Goldwyn. Oh, I don't know who this guy is. I'm assuming
Yeah.
this is the villain. Yeah. I'm curious what else
That-
he's
that
in.
was-
Tarzan
that
and whatever. Yeah.
That was a revolutionary film for its time. Like the visual effects in there was just like had never been done before. Like seeing people go through walls and like the heaven sequence at the end. Kartik Sharma's asking you a question. Sorabh G, would you consider a special with reaction YouTubers as your audience? What would be the pros cons? What? What's the question? Would you consider a special?
A special with
Reaction
reaction
YouTubers.
YouTubers in the
Oh,
audience. So
okay.
instead of regular audience members, you would just have a
R-
panel of like
reaction people?
reaction people.
Dude, that's actually
would-
a really fun idea to do on Zoom, man. It's a genuinely fun idea to do on Zoom with like, in fact, not just me, just like have 8 comedians, all Indian comedians, and then just have a bunch of people like who do reaction videos just to see. That would actually be a fun thing. It's a fun idea. It's not a half-baked idea at all. I think I'm pitching this to Amazon, Karthik, and accepting full credit for it myself.
Are you still
Um,
doing your interviews? I saw you were doing interviews, like you did the Verdos video where you guys were
Yeah.
just chatting. It was pretty cool.
I've sort of
Um,
replaced it with this, and we've done like this is the 71st episode of this format, which is me interviewing a bunch
wow.
of people. And so far we had Veer again, we had pretty much all of India's top comedians who've been very nice, and we had a lot of historians. Like I don't know about you guys about like if you guys are interested in history. I never got taught Indian history properly until I became a grown up. And
Huh.
there's a lot of people like there's a historian called Ramchandra Guha, there's another called Manu Pillai, there's a guy called William Dalrymple who talk about Indian history extensively. So I had them on, and those were like probably, and there's a guy called Veer Sanghvi who's a journalist, and so yeah, I've been doing this for a while now. So I've replaced the interview thing with sort of this. By the way, I gotta take this super chat from my best friend Arnab Banerjee, one of my closest friends in the world. Arnab Banerjee, we've never met, and I know him from this YouTube live, but he's my best friend. Arnab Banerjee has asked quite some time back, hello Sorabh, love your videos, Jaby Achara, and my wife's a huge fan. Question, how do you deal with all the hate that comes your way if you make an unintentional comment about India? Has that ever happened?
I think
I get hate. Like,
yeah.
I try to take it in stride. There are instances where I make it clear that I had no malicious intention, and I don't apologize. But there are many instances where I have apologized just for not understanding the circumstance. Like Zakir, not Zakir, what's his name? Hussein. The tabla player.
Yes.
Zakir
very
Hussain, yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I watched one of his videos, not having the context of how legendary he is. I was just watching him and I was giving my most raw reaction.
Slightly my fault for not prepping you.
No, but even so, even so, I like for me, I was just giving the most honest reaction possible because I had no idea who he was. And there was a huge section of people that got offended that I was reacting the way that I was when it was just an honest response to this person. I was enjoying the shit out of it.
Because you were being a little jokey.
I was being a little jokey during the video, but it's like that's what you do when the camera's not rolling. You're jokey, you're having a good time. You're not worried about offending anybody. You're just hanging out with your people, having a good time. And that's what I put out there into the world. It's just an honest response. But a lot of people got offended. And so I just apologized. I just owned up. I'm like, sorry, I didn't know who he was. And I haven't touched his videos since then. Just to avoid the problem.
Jaby doesn't do cricket videos or tabla videos.
Anytime something like very dramatic happens, I get traumatized and I'm like, I'm just not going to go there again. I just don't touch it. Why risk it?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, but in your, okay, this is the one, this is Zakir Hussain video about the horse running, right? That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is so funny because the first comment is somebody saying, who else is here after watching JB's apology video?
I mean, it does. The apology videos do have an ironic effect of giving the original thing more attention. But I'm like, I guess at the end, I try to see the silver lining, which is even though this hurts like mentally from like having to apologize and offending people, you're making more money because more people are clicking on that video now. So that's the silver lining. It's just like a small like.
But also you have to remember that the internet generally has a very short memory span.
Yeah.
And when you put out as much content as we do, people tend to forget things fairly quickly. So within like a few days or a week or whatever, like if you're not really drawing attention to the controversy or the drama, it's pretty much gone. But then of course the internet also lives forever. So you can have the opposing thing, which is people can find old clips and be like, but what did you say?
I think your first thought is correct, though. Like most people just move on. What I wanted to ask you, though, is if I ever sent you a particular clip, would you do a reaction that I could post on my channel?
Yeah, of course. I would love to. Listen, I tried. I think when the lockdown started, I was like, hey, now I know that this is going to be at least 6 months, right? Because I think anybody who had done enough research and spoken, like there was that TEDx talk of that one scientist who said that this is going to be a while. And I watched that and I was like, this is going to be a while. I need to figure out what to create at home. So I was like, hey, I should start doing reaction videos. And my idea was to do like really absurd nonsense with it. And I just couldn't figure out the technology because I'm an idiot. So like, how you keep the video here in same time and also speak like that? That's what I'm going for like a week. And I was like, fuck this, I can't do this. But I love to do that, but that sounds like a really fun idea.
So remember when we thought lockdown was going to be a month?
Yeah.
No, Sorabh was ahead of the grain.
No, like because I remember when we had our lockdown, people thought it was just a month. Like this pandemic thing was just going to be a month long, and I'm like, why would it just be a month? How are they going to clear up this monumental international matter in 30 days? They're just kicking this can down the road, and they're just going to keep doing that. And then we're all going to catch on and it's like they're going to stop doing that once we get used to the fact that this is just the new normal.
Yeah.
Because first it was 30 days and then it was like, oh, no, it's going to be like 45 more days. Oh, no, we're going into August. And then Tenet kept getting pushed back with its release date. It's like, it's just, look, man, like this is just what it is. You got to just chill out.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's rough for everybody.
It is.
I think about 2 days prior to the lockdown being announced, I was out somewhere. I don't know what I was doing. And I think I was walking across Mumbai, which was like very uncrowded for a change. And I'm like, this is great, guys. Who cares about the lockdown? And then I reached home and I realized the vibe outside was absolute, like, it wasn't even panic. It was that sort of fear thing, which I've never seen in the city before. And I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a while. And that one video of the TEDx, this scientist lady, I've completely forgotten her name in the video. That completely changed my because till that day, until the day I stepped out, I genuinely thought the same thing. I thought it's going to be a month, and then I saw that video. I'm like, oh shit, we are fucked.
Yeah.
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 And then Jaby single-handedly bought all the toilet paper
No, I
in our
didn't.
area.
No, I didn't. No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
I've got the same
I'm
We
rumor. Yeah.
teasing.
we don't have the same system that India does. We have toilet paper for some reason and baby wipes, and it was sold out everywhere.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
remember going to the supermarket because Jaby told me, he was like, they're limiting them. So you can only buy one. But I know a place. They still have toilet paper and paper towels. Go, Achara, get in your car, go. And I was like, okay. And I get there and I have this like massive thing of toilet paper and a massive thing of paper towel. And I'm like pushing my trolley to my car. And I'm thinking, oh God, I'm scared for my life. I am genuinely
paper towels.
afraid that some Karen is gonna come find me in the parking lot and like shank me for toilet paper.
Yeah.
I was really scared. Yeah,
It's
terrifying.
yeah. I remember that same store I went to. I had parked in the back for some reason, but not close to the store, and it was pouring rain, and I had a cart full of toilet paper, paper towels, baby wipes.
Water. I had
And
water as well.
I tried to take my shopping cart to the car, but they have this technology that locks the wheels.
That happened to me too.
And so my cart just stopped, and a lot of shit fell out of my cart, and into the rain, and I'm putting it back on real fast. And this guy goes, "I'll watch your cart while you go get your car." I'm like, "That's okay."
I don't trust you.
So
All my groceries are gonna disappear.
I literally had to call my sister to come from home all the way to the store to open up the trunk right in front of the entrance to the store, so I could
Wow.
load up her car and then get back home. Like, it was just it was crazy, man. It's a lot more calm now. It's a lot more orderly now, but I suspect it's gonna get insane again before the year's over. Because we haven't had
Yeah.
our second wave yet. We haven't had our second wave, so it will get insane again.
So
Yeah.
stockpile.
Yeah.
But that's such a fucking funny story about both. Like, one is Achara almost getting robbed for toilet paper, or the fear, just like, fuck, I have toilet paper. And then I love that you had to wait for your sister, like just a dude with his cart. But why do they lock the cart? What is the reason that they lock the cart?
Oh, because homeless people steal the carts, or like people steal them from
shopping
the
carts.
shopping center,
Yeah.
and so they like automatically lock once you leave a certain area.
So shopping, so supermarkets and grocery stores have invested millions of dollars in technology to figure out how to lock the carts, as opposed to feeding the homeless or giving
Or
them a place
helping
to go,
them.
helping them
Yeah.
out. It's just interesting where we divert our funds as people. It's just the weirdest thing.
It's like, stop stealing the
w-
shopping carts.
American corporations have the weirdest of rules. So if you work at a fast food place, like let's say Carl's Jr., and you have a hamburger that you get as an employee there, you are not allowed to give that out to the derelict, to the bum outside. It can lead to a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Any leftover food they have to throw it out, as opposed to giving it away. It's insane to me. There are people who are starving in Los Angeles.
No,
and
it's because people took advantage of the situation, and then because there's so much litigation in America
Yeah.
that it's just not worth it. You have like one homeless person who's all like, "Oh my God, I'm going to sue McDonald's because they gave me this free food, and now I'm going to sue them for XYZ," and then
How
it
can
just
you-
ruins it for
That
everyone.
person is not homeless if he's suing anybody. It's just no way.
Once again, so what is the litigation? The litigation is that I got. What is the? I'm trying to understand what the legalities of this are. What is the
If you got sick off the food.
Yeah, if you got sick off the food,
Yeah.
or you could like try and sue them, or like maybe you lied or something, who knows. But I mean, sometimes even like the homeless in LA are so entitled,
Some of them are very strategic.
Yeah.
Like, you see homeless people on the side of the freeway with iPhones, like the latest iPhone. I'm like, how did you?
What?
Where did that?
I was walking past Starbucks just the other day, and this guy was all like, he saw me, and I think he kind of had a feeling. He's all like, "Hey, sister, will you buy me a coffee?" I'm like, "No, leave me alone." But like, some of the homeless people are like super.
Chara has sucker written on her forehead.
I do. I felt so bad. I felt so bad to like walk away. But like, what was it? Your friend didn't. Was that your story where Skeeter offered to buy someone?
Oh yeah. Okay.
A
So
sandwich or something.
so what happened was Skeeter was at Taco Bell. Skeeter's my brother. He's at Taco Bell, and this derelict walks up to him and goes, can I have some money? And he goes, no, get out of here. And then he felt bad. He's like, I'll tell you what, man, come here, pick whatever you want on the menu, I'll buy it for you. So this bum looks at the menu and buys the most expensive thing on the menu. And Skeeter's like, fuck, well, I opened my mouth. I have to, okay, go ahead. And he bought it for him. The guy took it and threw it in the garbage. And then, so what happened was Skeeter took it out of the garbage and he pushed it into his face. He pushed it into the derelict's mouth. He's like, you're going to fucking eat it because I paid for it. And the guy freaked out and ran. And Skeeter ran after him. And halfway down the block, he goes, what am I doing? And he just made the conscious choice to not give to derelicts anymore because of that circumstance, that experience.
I had a friend who, she was trying to be nice and she was trying to feed the homeless. So she went to the store and she bought a bunch of bread and bologna and cheese or whatever to make these sandwiches. And so she brought them to Skid Row where, a lot of homeless people live. And, she was giving out these sandwiches. And then this one homeless girl, she got the sandwich and she looked and saw that it was meat and cheese. And she threw it back at my friend and was like, oh, I'm vegan. I'm like, dude, you're homeless. Why are you so picky? Just eat. Oh my God.
I by the way, I love the story of your brother. That story of your brother is it's literally like a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. I can imagine Larry, they were chasing a guy like, you eat the fucking thing. No, but I'll tell you, as an Indian, one of the most frustrating things to me when I travel in North America is the wastage of food. Because it's so frustrating, dude. I remember I do the story as part of my stand-up also, but the crux of it was, I think we went into Cold Stone Creamery ages back, and the fucking smallest helping is this large, and we have 4 people, so we're fucking, we'll share the whole thing, right? And we're sharing the thing as a family because we don't want to waste the food, and people are just staring at us and judging us. And I remember one lady coming in and eating the rest, and we're just looking at this this is stop wasting food. It's so frustrating. Why can't you have just not waste this food? Yeah, it's one of the things that really frustrates you.
Yeah, I mean, we have, what is it? We take up the most per capita. We have our footprint, our carbon footprint is amongst the biggest in the world as Americans. I try my best to shrink my carbon footprint, but
eat all the food.
Yes, that's a thing of mine, is whatever I have on the plate, I have to eat. And if someone next to me in my party hasn't finished their food and they're about to throw it out, I will eat their food. I'm like, it needs to be eaten. You can't just, there's people starving in the world. This is going to get eaten. We're eating this shit. And it frustrates me to no end when people just toss food. I'm like,
take it home.
That's such a luxury to be able to just toss food. Don't do that. Save it. You got a dog?
By the way, okay. And so let's take some members only. It's the first time we're doing a members only chat, by the way. So I'm quite intrigued by how this pans out. Jayesh Tripathi says, what was your introduction to Indian web cinema and TV content? Who introduced you to it?
Indian web
TVF? No?
TVF was the very first one that I got introduced to. It was with it was Permanent Roommates.
Permanent Roommates, yeah.
I was in San Francisco with a friend of mine, and that came up as a recommendation. So I didn't know if I was going to get in trouble or not. I watched the episode, and at the beginning I said, if TVF doesn't want me to do this anymore, I won't. But if they want me to continue watching it, I will. And they commented back and they said, keep watching it. We love your reactions. And so I did a bunch of TVF stuff for the longest time until their rules changed and they got merged with a different company. That was the first one.
Yeah, it's so interesting. So one of the things that happened is there's a cricket channel, right? I'm obsessed with cricket. And there's a cricket channel run by this guy called Rob Delinda. And it's one of those, it's one of those names which just caught on because I don't think he got any usernames at the time he started his channel and didn't realize how big he's going to be. So it's just called Rob Delinda for reasons he can't understand. And he finds this really old archival cricket footage. And during the pandemic especially, what happened was that his views went up exponentially because it's just people going there's no cricket, we're obsessed with cricket and we got to watch something. So people started watching that. And what suddenly happened was that everybody started realizing that even those old videos sort of helped the game,
Mhm.
right? Like any reference, like, so that's why, like, when you guys do reaction videos of my stand-up and stuff like that, I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I'm glad, first of all, because I remember a couple of the videos, the feedback was interesting, which I'm like, yeah, that's true. And also, it's new people watching your content, and so what's the
Mhm.
complaint there exactly? So I'm totally fine with that. And like I was listening to this one episode, this podcast called Office Ladies, which is about the lady who played Pam and one other person, and they just talk about the office and their time at the office, and
Mhm.
that's inducing me to go and watch the office. So
Yeah.
I don't think people realize that people reacting to your stuff or people responding to it in any way will essentially drive people to watch that stuff in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a number of companies out there that don't realize the benefits of that, and it can
Yeah,
be frustrating because I'm like, it's press. It's free
right.
press. Like there are people
Yeah,
who pay lots of money to get press. We're giving it
yeah,
to you for free. So just let us do our thing and you'll get more people paying attention to your thing. Like and the same thing is true for like older stuff because we'll look at something older like even a show and
yeah,
what'll happen is people get impatient because they're watching, okay, let's say Family Man, right, with Manoj Bajpayee. So we're watching the show for the very first time, putting out an episode a day. And,
Or like sometimes we'll take a little break and it
right,
might be like, oh, an extra day before the next episode comes.
right. And so people are watching it for the very first time with us, and then they get impatient. So they go get an Amazon subscription so they can finish out the show.
yeah,
It's like that's business. That's good business for the company, you know. And so it is very confusing to me when big companies that got there because they see the big picture can't see the big picture in these
yeah,
Yeah.
like in this new age. But it is what it is.
Well, even with like trailer reactions, I was at a wedding, and I happened to be sitting at a table with like the head animator for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
oh, nice.
And so, we were talking and he's like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I do trailer reactions." And he goes, "Oh, really? Did you do a trailer reaction to Into the Spider-Verse? Because I probably would have watched it because when the trailer dropped, all of the animators, like everyone was watching every single trailer reaction they could find." He said he like just searched YouTube and found all the trailer reactions, and it was really great feedback. And there was actually stuff that they put in the trailer just for the trailer and it wasn't going to be in the actual movie, that after
Yeah,
they saw like the positive response from the audience, they were like, oh, okay, we have to put that in the movie now.
Yeah.
And so like there have been times where reactions to the trailers actually influence what happens in the film, like what they
Yeah,
keep and what they take
it
out.
seems like the filmmakers and the actors always appreciate it because when Star Wars Rogue was it Rogue One? That's the prequel film, yeah.
That was a prequel. Yeah.
Yeah, so Star Wars Rogue One, what I did a reaction to that and the visual effects team loved all the reaction videos so much that they put together a compilation of the reaction videos to Star Wars Rogue One. Like
nice.
that's cool to me. Like they appreciate it. It's the money people that have an issue with reaction
Hmm.
videos sometimes. Not all the time, sometimes. And then Will Smith, I did a reaction to his animation film where he plays the pigeon,
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Spies in
yeah,
Disguise.
and he
Yeah.
he
yeah,
included both me and my younger brother's reaction in one of his vlogs. I'm like,
yeah,
Will Smith saw our reaction and he put us in his video. I'm like, that's
Yeah, it's
insane.
wild.
That's
yeah.
insane. He's one of the most positive guys in the world. I got to see him up close as a part of a press junket for
Gemini Man.
Gemini Man. He's one of the
Yeah,
most
yeah.
energetic, most enthusiastic guys in the world. I have never seen someone with more energy than him. You know,
Yeah, so Gemini Man, first of all, horrible movie. I mean, I hate to say it.
yes,
I saw
yeah,
it in, I was in Hong Kong, and I think I had an extra day, and I was like, I gotta see Gemini Man. Okay, let's go see Gemini Man. And I think I saw that Murder on the Orient Express, and then I saw Gemini Man, and I was like,
Oh
is
God.
it's literally, it's like a 90s Bollywood film. It's in that zone where it's like, hey, double roll, guys. This is
yeah.
exciting. It's kind of
That's
weird.
right. That's true.
But I met Will Smith. I actually wrote something for Will Smith ages back. I was writing for a show called the Man's World show. There's a magazine called Man's World, which is about hey men's stuff and nonsense. And I wrote an episode, and they said, hey, Will Smith is coming. So do you want to write some stuff for Will Smith? And I wrote some stuff, and I landed up on the set. And they're like, why are you on the set? I'm like, I'm writer. They're like, you've not been on the set for the previous 23 episodes. They're like, Will Smith is here. Let me stay. And then I just saw him from a distance. And it's so weird about him that he just seems like a normal person, right? And you see him, and I don't know if this is your experience. And you see him, and you're like, this guy, because he's quite like, and so one part of me thought that is that how like one of the biggest celebrities in the world should be, or should you be more aloof, right? Like, or does it depends on your personality trait? Like, I like Will Smith's vlogs are actually quite interesting. So yeah, I don't know if that's your experience about like I don't know where you stand on the mystical element of celebrity, which doesn't exist anymore, versus somebody who's outgoing and friendly and all that kind of stuff.
I've experienced both, and I've experienced the entire gamut of celebrities. But like my experience with Will Smith was at YouTube Space LA because he was promoting Gemini Man, and I just
Yeah,
noticed that his level of energy was like you couldn't compete with it. He had the
yeah,
most energy in the room, and I'm like, this guy's over 50 years old, and his energy is insane. I've never seen anything like it. It's magical, and
yeah,
I mean, it's the complete opposite of what your experience was. But like, I see him in the videos that he does online and stuff. I'm like, that matches like that's exactly what my experience was with him. It was to the point that it was a bit obnoxious, but when you're doing this for hours on end, it gives the editors a lot of content to play with to cut down to 5 minutes. So like
yeah.
I can only imagine what it was like when he collabed with the slow mo guys for YouTube.
Mm,
His energy's at like on a scale of 1 to 10, he's at a 25 all the
yeah,
time. And so, but
yeah,
what that leaves you with is a lot of great stuff to edit, and like you have a very, very
Yeah.
entertaining video. It's just like that's cool. Like I've never seen anything like that. But like for Gemini Man, he kept going woo over and over again. And the thing is, Clive Owen is like this close to him, and he's like woo, and Clive Owen's like fuck. Just like, and I was just like, this is great. This is great stuff. Like you can't pay for that. Like that's
yeah,
just a great moment. You got Big Fat Panda over here who's asking a question in
yeah,
the super chat.
yeah. So no, I got to tell you, I got to finish this Will Smith thing, which is like Will Smith is one of those actors who I'm invested in, and I'll watch anything he does.
Uh-huh.
And,
Yep.
and and so it's one of those like, so even though Gemini Man, I really didn't enjoy that movie. I was like, yeah, Will Smith is here, let's enjoy. I saw that, and he was great in that movie Concussion, and there's some. So that's the thing. I think it's that old format of Hollywood, right, where you do what is it, three for them and one for you?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well, it's
I
Something
actually
think
like
one. It's
that.
actually one.
One to one, I think.
One for you.
is
One
it
for
one to
them.
one?
One for
Yeah, yeah,
you.
yeah. So you can see the one which he does, and so I'm completely invested. And I had an epiphany about one of the person, which is Tom Cruise, about the same thing about energy,
Yeah.
which is that, and that's why I don't understand why most celebrities don't do long form interviews. Like my entire opinion of Tom Cruise changed after I think he did a Nerdist interview,
Mm.
and I feel the same way about somebody like a Bollywood actor who probably, I mean, he's not like some phenomenal actor, but he's an adequate actor. He's good at what he does. Is Abhishek Bachchan, and the
Okay.
reason I
Mm-hmm.
always like him is because of the way he deals with trolls.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting because he doesn't behave like an asshole to them. It's nice. It's like erudite. He's attempted to be erudite and stuff like that. So yeah, and so with Abhishek, I have a lot of patience for him because I'm like, yeah, and I've met him, and he's a nice man. I remember he was doing some launch of my book, and somebody asked him for a selfie. And the person like, shit, I forgot my camera. Abhishek, what will I do? Abhishek, what will I do? Abhishek, what do I do? My camera's in the car. Abhishek's like, dude, relax. I'll wait for you. I have a minute extra, and this person's running, and he waited nicely. But that's a small thing, but it counts for a lot, right? Eventually. So yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
we do have a super chat. So yeah. This is yeah. You want to read that? Please go ahead. Please go
Sure, sure. With all the Indian folks you have interviewed, interacted from TVF folks like Biswa Patti Sarkar or actors like Manoj Bajpayee, folks who are at the top of their craft, which were your top three interactions? One of them is happening right now. I think Manoj Bajpayee was definitely one of those top three, and Tiger Shroff has to be up there as well. Tiger Shroff's the interview with Tiger Shroff was so fascinating because I have this whole complicated setup that I do. I mean, just look at the headset, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's complicated. I'm very technical and I want to get it perfect. And Tiger Shroff is literally on his iPhone, and his energy is so fascinating because he just brings you down and levels you out. Like I was so anxious and so nervous going into that interview because it's Tiger Shroff, and he was just very chill. So I chilled out. I'm like, oh wow, like this is over the internet. Like I'm not face to face with the guy.
Yeah.
It's over the shit connection of Skype, and still like he managed to chill me out. And so he has a very zen feeling about him that is just amazing.
And he's really humble as well.
He's very humble. And so like that was one of my all-time favorite interviews because he changed my energy through the magic of the internet. Like, what the hell? Because it's not something you see in his videos. Like, he's dancing around. He's got that enthusiasm going. When you're just talking to him, he's just very, very chill.
Laid back.
Very laid back.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that. And his ability to appreciate people who appreciate him is just, it's really nice, you know?
Yeah, and he also appreciates, like, I guess, just how lucky he is, you know, to be able to do what he does, and like I think that's important. You know,
for sure.
I think especially when you come from a family that's kind of already in the industry, you know, it's even more important to be grateful for like the opportunities that you have, because a lot of other people have to work so hard to even get their foot in the door. You know, whereas you get doors open for you, and so you have to be appreciative of that.
With the Manoj Bajpayee interview, man, like I was so nervous going into that interview. I was just like more nervous than anyone else. It's just, I almost shit myself. I was so scared because I'm like, this is Manoj Bajpayee. Like he's such a talented actor. I don't want to waste his time.
You know? It was super fun too, and it was like really inspiring because he's so good, and like all the stuff that he was saying, I was just like, this is just like an acting masterclass. This is so cool.
Like that's like the passion is just constant. It's the craziest thing.
He's a phenomenal actor. I remember, and his interviews are great. Even yours was great. I think he did an interview with Midday at Manoj Bajpayee where he was just he was upfront and incisive about things in a way that nobody else had been. I think he spoke about nepotism. He spoke about all of that. And that's why I just like, I hate the binary aspect of every conversation right now on the internet. Like even the nepotism debate in Bollywood right now is like, hey, we hate nepotism versus we love nepotism. And I'm like, there's a lot of gray area in the middle. Like there's a lot of people like a Tiger and stuff like that who's genuinely talented at what they do and the entertainment value that they provide. And by the way, his like Tiger Shroff is great and all, but his dad is, holy fuck, dude. His dad is on another level, right? So I've had the chance to meet his dad twice, and it's roughly what he said about the chill, right? So my mom is a painter, and she was doing some exhibition which is like sort of not amateur painters, but like semi-professional painters and stuff like that. And Jackie Shroff was the guest, and so there's about 100, and it's basically you enter in this one spot, and it's like a puzzle. The only way you can exit is after going through all the stalls, which is like 160 stalls of paintings, of people's paintings. Jackie Shroff enters and he's wearing a sort of jacket, which is a painting. So you're immediately like, this is great, dude. And he's just walking around and he's just singing to people. He's like, it's awesome. And he's just calling everybody Bidu, which he keeps doing all the time. And he's just enduring, and everybody's like happy to see him, and old people are enjoying, young people are enjoying. You know, this is a great vibe. So his dad is the one I'm a massive fan of.
Yeah, every time I see Jackie Shroff in a movie, he has one of the most magnetic qualities about him. And I keep trying to put my finger on it because he's got such a crazy charisma about him. It's amazing. Like when I watched him in the Salman Khan film, was it Bharat? He's at the beginning of the movie, and it's like I just wanted to see more of him. Like he's just so magical to watch, you know.
He really is.
I was trying to pitch to Tiger Shroff after Boggy 3. I was trying to pitch to him. I'm like, you need to do another movie with your dad where you guys are like action partners, because I think that would be amazing. You know.
Yeah.
So anyway, silliness. One can dream.
Like I think it's a good, it's an interesting sort of barometer for acting excellence is to figure out if you're great in a shit movie. Like if you're the
No.
standout,
Yeah.
and Jackie Shroff always is. I remember he did a movie called was it Happy New Year or whatever, the Shah Rukh Khan movie, which was really like it was silly. I mean, again, it wasn't like whatever. It was quite nonsensical. But was it Jackie Shroff in it? And he was still great. And there was a point in the movie where he had shaved his beard. And I'm just watching the screen like, where's your beard gone? Like his mooch is gone. I haven't seen Jackie Shroff without a mooch for years. And I was just watching, mesmerized by his lack of mooch. Like that's the thing. Yeah. But yeah, big fan of yeah. Go ahead.
We watched him in Devdas.
Yeah, we liked him in that
dude.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did a movie called Mission Kashmir, which was Hrithik Roshan. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
I completely forgotten the plot and all that stuff. And there's just a scene where Jackie Shroff is telling, it's a slightly close-up shot where Jackie Shroff is just holding Hrithik Roshan's face and says, "Tu mera bacha hai, tu mera bacha hai," and he's saying basically, "You're my son, you're my son." And I still remember this despite watching that scene 20 years back, because the intensity he brought into that one line of saying "Tu mera bacha," oh my god. And I thought I was the only one, and I know that people who watch Bollywood movies remember that scene still, despite that movie not exploding the way it did just because Jackie Shroff was there. So, yeah. It was Happy New Year. Kajal clarifies that was a Happy New Year.
Just to answer the final for us, the Big Fat Pandas question, I think it's Jimmy Shergill is probably the last one. That was one of the craziest experiences for me because he came over to my apartment. Yeah.
How did that happen?
Because I tweeted at him and he says, "Yeah, let's definitely do an interview, but I don't want to do it over Skype." I'm like, "Well, how are we gonna?" It's like, "I'll just come to your place." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
He was in town. I think his friend, his friend or a relative or someone was graduating.
Someone was graduating, so he wanted to come out for the graduation.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'll be in LA. I'll come to your place." I was like, "Get the fuck out of here! You're not gonna come to my place." And he showed up. I was like, "Oh my god, I don't know how to be right now."
He's so chill as well. He's
he-
another person who's
he was
way chill.
He was very chill, and he had an assistant with him.
Yes.
As soon as the interview started, she started hacking up her lungs, just like coughing and like crazy, to the point that she had to leave the apartment. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I'm so nervous. I can't process any of this. So anyway, Jimmy, it's like I was just really nervous because, like, yeah.
Did Sorabh freeze?
Oh, maybe.
I
thought he was just so engaged with the story.
He's doing the thing where he's pretending to
but
be
we're still live
in the Zoom call.
I think we're still live.
But he's like frozen. Oh, he fell off.
Well, no, but we're definitely still live.
We're still
somehow
here.
We've taken over Sorabh Pant's channel.
The takeover.
So we'll just answer questions on Sorabh Pant's behalf until Sorabh comes back. So we have this is hilarious.
Okay, let's answer some chats.
Pratya Bart and Mohanty. Sorabh, can you show something very cringy from Bollywood to which Jaby and Achara can react to live?
Well, he's not here, but maybe when he comes back.
Totally taking over Sorabh Pant's channel. This is crazy.
This is awesome. Okay.
What
else?
We have a question here from PRKGR. That person.
Yeah, you were hanging out with us just the other night.
Tiger Shroff and Abhishek Bachchan are not actors. They cannot even express different emotions or make acting believable.
I don't believe that for a second.
You know what? Even if that were true, I don't give a shit. It's that Tiger Shroff is such a good dude. I will watch him do anything.
But I think also it's like you're an actor if you get paid to be an actor. So you're a professional.
If you're bankable, you're bankable.
Like,
we're back.
That's it.
Mandar Tendulkar says, "Who will you choose if you get a chance to meet personally, Tanmay or Carrie?"
Tanmay.
Probably Tanmay Bond.
Yeah.
More likely.
Yeah. He looks cuddly.
Are you back, Sorabh? He's still figuring out his audio.
He's okay.
I am so sorry. My Wi-Fi keeps connecting. So now I'm on my phone, which is a shit connection. So this is great.
Oh no!
Can anybody hear anything I'm saying? This is amazing.
I can hear.
I can hear you. We managed to take over your channel for a few minutes.
Yeah, it's fun.
We were telling a story.
Tata Indicom. If anybody from Tata Indicom is watching, can you just repair?
No.
Stop the video.
That's great.
I'll stop my
That's
video
good.
for a second just to see how it works.
Jayesh Tripathi says, guys, support the stream so that Sorabh can get a better internet connection.
You should hardwire in, Sorabh. Going
Yeah,
forward.
I should. I think that makes perfect sense.
Okay. Can you once and for all tell me how to pronounce your last name?
Isn't it Pant? Is it Pant or Pant?
Okay.
I'm never gonna. What do you
It's
say?
Punt.
What?
It's Punt.
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 Can you hear me?
I've been saying it correct.
Yeah.
Punt.
Oh,
I've been
there
saying
you
punt.
go.
Look, sometimes
There
I get
you
it right.
go.
Sometimes I get it right.
I think now my internet is fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good now.
Get off the internet,
Yeah,
wife.
it's good.
Jayesh Tripathi says this happens a lot. Sorabh,
Yeah,
this is Sorabh
so-
Punt's like plan is just to have people take over his channel.
It's basically me just slacking off like, hey, why didn't you end it? that's my scam that I run. Yeah.
Hemant Kumar says, question for Jaby. Do you watch videos of other reaction channels? Are you friends with any of them or jealous of any of them? Honestly, I'm so preoccupied with like all the things that we do. We've been working all day long. This is like constant. There's just no time to even like be concerned with other reaction channels. Like, cause as soon as we got up today, we started making videos and shooting and editing and whatnot. And it's just every day is kind of like that when you do YouTube full time.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like that.
Oh yeah. Although I do have a guilty pleasure. There was a reaction channel that was a slight guilty pleasure. It was like a Korean grandma reacting to stuff. And like I really got into it, especially when she was reacting to food because she was so cute.
Yeah.
And then like Koreans reacting to like really weird American TV shows. I got into that too, like the 90 Day Fiance Koreans react. I was like, oh my God, this is great content.
Yeah, and it's so weird about the like since the lockdown happened, right? YouTube has become the main thing for me as well. Right, because so you do brands and stuff like that, which is again on YouTube, and it's suddenly become YouTube centric, and you've had to rethink everything that you knew, because previously what would happen was not the only time, but the 60% of my income would come when I was on the road, making money for doing live shows and all that kind of stuff, and now it's become probably about 40-50% has become YouTube, and all the shit that they tell you, and I'm sure you guys would probably testify and add to this. All the shit that they tell you about, be regular with your content. Make sure that they know that this is coming at XYZ time. Interact with your fans. Make sure that you're nice to them. And all this basic shit, which as a comedian, you're like, fuck you, I'll just release one stand-up clip once a month, okay? Don't talk to me like this. And then you realize that, wait, I was wrong about everything. Everything that everybody said is correct. Is there for you guys, is there anything else that you've noticed about running a YouTube channel where you're like, oh yeah, this is something you have to do?
Good thumbnails.
Yeah.
Good proper titles. Good thumbnails, proper titles. But those are basic things. I think interacting with the audience is pretty important. Especially, I feel like with lockdown, all YouTubers have become strippers. Basically, like we're all going out on these live streams, hoping that someone's gonna throw $1 at us and put it in our G-string. that's literally. I feel like all YouTubers have become like strippers of the internet. It's just like the weirdest thing. And we did a collaboration with Samay Reina. I don't know if you know who Samay Reina is. But he has this very interesting response every time someone does a super chat. He goes, "Thank you for making me rich," and I'm like, but it goes against every fiber of my being to say something like that. Like how do you just say that?
Yeah, he's just like so upfront with it. He's like, thank you for making me rich. Moving on.
I almost feel like I have to treat the super chats as this abstract idea and not call attention to the fact that it's money. I don't know why. Like I feel like I have to create that separation. It's like I would get afraid of calling it a donation. I would get afraid of calling it, any kind of monetary value. I just go, thank you for being generous. And I leave it at that.
Yeah.
But he's just calling it straight up. Thanks for making me rich.
Yeah.
On to the next thing,
Yeah, like, so Manav, my manager, keeps saying, hey, don't mention how much people gave. And I'm like, but and I'm like, is that a rule? Is that a written rule that we can't just mention like, hey, Nitesh Katiyar, thank you for 400 rupees? Like that's fine. Or even 40. Like I'm appreciative of whatever you can give. Like if you're giving $20, that's absolutely. But the stripper concept is very interesting because it's like the money is coming in different currencies, right? So
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
like you're a stripper in Geneva, where all these international countries are coming and they're like, here's some dollars, here's some kronos, whatever shit.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
enjoy the different exchange rates. Yeah.
Speaking of which,
By the way,
Kaitiar has a question. Had this thought for long. Vidget and Tiger pitched in a movie opposite each other or together, maybe. Can any one of you pitch this? Love Jaby
I
Achara.
want that to
So, I
happen.
feel like Sorabh, you're in a better position to pitch that than me.
Yeah, I'd watch that movie.
I see, but what I do with that movie is I'd make it a romantic comedy with zero action. I'll make it like it'll be really funny when it's the threat of action, right? Like Vidya is standing on top of a building and he needs to jump to the other building to get to his sweetheart, and he's like, "No, I can't do it," and then he goes down. I just want I want that to happen repeatedly, but they just don't do anything. So throughout the movie, their entire this thing is not doing action. Where Tiger's like, "Hey, there's a car," and then there's that that scam which they run in every movie, right? Which is that there's a truck with a high clearance and you have to go under it,
Uh-huh.
right? And he's just like, oh no, I'll just brake at the signal and she's gone. And I just want that to happen. And then like comedically, there'll be like, one of the most funny comedic bits I've seen in any fucking movie is in a movie called The Other Guys. Have you guys seen The
Oh
Other
yeah.
Guys?
Yeah, I love that film.
Where Samuel L. Jackson and Dwayne Johnson just jump off a building to catch a thief. It's literally one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever seen in my life. Just jump off a skyscraper to catch the thieves. It's like so pointless and stupid. So I think a version of that of Vidya Jampal and Tiger Shroff doing whatever. Are you guys massive fans of both of them, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Of Vidget and Tiger.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, okay. Well, truth be told, man, I've only seen Vidget's stuff through clips and trailers and interviews and like discussions. I haven't actually watched an entire movie of his yet. Whereas with Tiger
Right.
Shroff, I have. And so, but like, I still really appreciate Vidya Jamal's energy and his enthusiasm for
Yeah.
martial arts.
Yeah.
I am most of the way convinced that
Mm,
Vidya Jamal is Bruce Lee reborn. Like,
right.
I just because he's the way he talks about martial arts and whatnot is there's no one else who's really like that that's at his status, you know,
Mm,
that has that and that commands that sort of attention and whatnot. Like like not Tiger Shroff. What am I thinking? Tony Jaa. He sort of
yeah.
went away from movies, whereas Vijay Jamal is just getting started. Tony Jaa went away and then came back. Like when he was on the set of Ong Bak 2 or 3, he just bounced for a month. He just walked off set, went into the woods and and meditated for a month or something crazy.
I think he was having issues.
He was having like mental issues or something like that. And
Yeah.
even over there in Thailand, he's not actually that big. He's more big
Right.
internationally. And whereas Vijay Jamal is big in India. And he's like
Mm,
I think he's very smart because he's trying to get away from just the martial arts scene while still promoting martial arts. He's diversifying himself.
Yeah.
So anyway, I like him a lot.
Mad
I
respect.
like his philosophy a lot.
Yeah.
it's quite interesting how that the sort of the martial arts hero, right, is not a thing anymore in like Hollywood specifically. It's there in Bollywood a lot. Like I think he's done like what is it, 3 Commandos, was it? Wait, how many? Yeah, Vidya
Yes.
I
Jamal.
think so. Yeah,
Yes.
3.
Yes.
Yeah. A friend of mine was in the last one, and so I kept asking. I'm like, dude, how about the stunts and all that shit? She's like, listen, I had a bad day. This friend of mine, Angira Dhar, really sweet person, and she was talking about the stunt thing, and she's like, it was the first day on the shoot, and I wasn't being able to do the stunt properly and stuff like that. And Vidya just came to me and calmed me down in like 12 minutes. I'm like, that's good, right? Because like it's such an interesting thing to me about how you said earlier about Tiger Shroff's energy,
Yeah.
right? And I think sometimes you don't understand how that makes the movie better because it's something that's happening off screen,
Yeah.
right? Like an actor being involved, right? Like a friend of mine was talking about, I think Kautuk Srivastava was a friend of mine. He's talking about how big Bollywood, Hollywood, whatever actors don't get paid money for just stardom. It's also the projects they select. That's the
Mhm.
key. It's about the script that they decide that this is the one that I can translate into the big picture with my feedback and all the stuff that I do behind the scenes. And I think sometimes people don't. I don't think Salman does, but I think the rest of them probably has. I think Salman, from what I've heard, just shows up and he's like, yeah, and people are like, great stuff, bro.
Yeah. Have you written for any feature films?
Uh, Veer and me wrote a film together, and currently the only writing that I'm doing for screen is I wrote a book called Underbelly in 2014. So I'm working on the pilot for pitching right now for OTT. So
Okay.
I'm working on that, and that's an interesting format, which is that uh, the like figuring out whether the episode should have a voiceover or no. That conversation has taken months, and it sounds like such a minor thing, but it's such a major thing because you need to understand about whether it's adding anything or whether it's not required, and whether it's lazy or whether it's not, and all the rest of that stuff. So yeah, that's the only writing that I've worked on. I was
Did
supposed
you
to be in a
settle?
Bollywood film, but that didn't pan out. Yeah, I'm very
Did you
happy
settle on
about
whether or not?
not
Did you
panning
settle on whether or not to have the voiceover?
I figured out a way to make it more fun. Right, like one of my favorite bits of creation is Dexter,
Mm.
Okay.
because I've read the books as well, and the books are funny. Right, like
Okay.
if you've read the books, it's really dark and funny. And I was like, why is this? And so the story of Dexter is an interesting one to me, where the books were really funny and dark. And the first episode of Dexter, if you see, there's a very small character trait which I thought was very interesting, which is that he eats in the car. And that's something that he mentions, that he's like, I always keep eating in the car. And then from second episode onwards, he doesn't. Which I was like, what the fuck just happened? He just said in the first episode that he ate in the car, and I was invested in that. And I realized that the reason they removed it is because that dark comedy serial killer person was there in three separate TV shows at the time. I think there's a show called Pushing Daisies, and there's another TV show which is also
Yeah.
doing the same thing. So they decided that they can't be in the same zone. So they just decided to take not a complete left, but not go comedic at all from episode 2 onwards, which I thought was very interesting.
Oh, weird.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I guess
So
I didn't notice that.
there was a similar approach taken with The Walking Dead. For like I started watching the show and I didn't like it. And I was like, well, let me look at
Yeah.
the material that this is based on and see how I feel. And the comic book is actually full of dark humor and jokes, which is so
Yeah.
bizarre because this show is such a drag. It's so dark.
It wasn't that bad.
It was
Jeez.
it's such a drag. I don't know why anyone likes that show. Like I for the life of me, I've tried watching 5 seasons of it, and it's just like at a certain point, I'm like, why is this even like it's trying to justify its own existence at this point? Like just go away.
They've got
Just
so many
stop.
spin-offs now.
I can't
People
stand
love that
it.
show.
I can't stand it.
They
I don't
can't
know.
let it go.
I feel like people just if people like that show, I feel like it's because they have nothing to do. Like they just need to like they're just looking for something to put on the TV and feel like they're doing something because like that's such a boring show.
It wasn't that
I
boring.
don't. Oh
Yeah.
my god, it's terrible.
I love The Walking Dead, by the way. I saw
It's
like
terrible.
I saw
It's
what is
terrible.
the current season they are on. I sort of gave up on it from the last season onwards because I'm like, this seems like you're doing the same thing now. Like it seems
Mhm.
the same world. But I tell you the reason I was. Oh, this is okay. So you know when I got into The Walking Dead, was I was taking a flight. I was in the US. I was flying down to Mumbai via a stopover in Dubai, and both directions the stopover was 17 hours at the
Oh my
airport.
god.
And
Well, at
the
the
Dubai airport,
airport,
yeah, at the airport because I'd taken I'd saved like some 6,000 rupees, and I'm like, yeah. I will wait in the airport for 34 hours to save 6 grand, which is worth it at that time. And so I had 17 hours in this airport, and the airport was absolutely deserted. There was nobody in like any part of it for that 17 hours for some absurd reason. I don't know why. And I was watching The Walking Dead, and I think I watched like probably 25 episodes of The Walking Dead in that setting, and it was perfect because you are in this world where nobody's around you, and that reminds you of in a way it sort of resonates with the world of The Walking Dead when nobody's around. And I do think that the thing about The Walking Dead, like now if you watch it, you'll feel bad about existence because it seems too realistic, right? But if you're
yeah.
watching it like a year back, you're like, yeah, this is great because it's escapism from overpopulation and all the rest of that stuff. I think that was the sort of underlying theme of it as far as I saw it.
Yeah.
I know that's the case.
Yeah, I couldn't
Okay,
get
I just
into
need
it.
a
I'm
few super
sorry.
chats. Akash Dhanasekar, thank you for $4.99. See, I'm mentioning the amount, Manav. Haha. What will you do about it? Huh?
Akash.
Hey,
I
Big
didn't see
Fat
that.
Panda, welcome to level 1, man. Appreciate it. Vedant Chaudhary, when is the Tanmay interview happening, JB?
I need to make it happen. I need to talk to
That's
Tanmay
on you?
again.
I
Yeah,
thought
it's
that
on
was.
me.
Oh, he. Okay, I thought he.
Well, no, it's on him too, but like I've just been like I don't want to pester him too much, you know. He's got a puppy and all. He's
Yeah.
busy.
It's interesting,
Yeah.
man. It's
Yeah.
interesting. Like because Carrie Minotti had agreed to do an interview with me, and then
Yeah.
it just didn't happen. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
People get busy, you know, they change their mind, then they're all like, yeah, maybe no. Maybe I'm not gonna want to do that anymore and stop answering your messages.
Yeah, that's basically what's happened.
Goodbye.
I mean, he's fine with me doing reactions to his content. So like that, there's the silver lining.
Yeah.
So I've been told he's just shy. You know.
Oh, is it? Yeah. You see, I've met him a couple of times. It's so interesting the transition from like I used to say. I mean, this is the thing we started off on in the first place was about the on-screen or on-stage persona versus off-stage, right?
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
expectation that people have. So I remember meeting Carrie like probably 6 8 months back or something like that. Yeah, I was just like this like laid back dude. And I met Arnab Goswami thrice, and I did the news debates, and the the pre-camera versus post-camera rolling persona is it's crazy. Like
Mm.
off camera, he's making jokes and he's like, these comedians are trying to tell me that I'm taking away their jobs and all, and all that kind of stuff. And this stuff starts and it's like, what happened? So yeah, it's so interesting how everybody, I think everybody in the entertainment world, I don't know if that's the case for you guys because I think your reactions are sort of natural, but everybody, or do you guys think you also play it up in any way?
A little bit. Not on the reaction
Yeah.
part, but on the discussion and the introduction a bit. Like the other day, I was doing a podcast, which is not out yet, but leading up
Yeah.
to the start of the podcast, I was in like super serious mode.
He's kind of scary
You
sometimes. Like if you've never seen Jaby in like work mode
Yeah.
and you've only ever seen him on screen doing reactions, it's like night and day. Because
Yeah.
when he's getting technical, he's like, don't ask me any questions. Don't talk to me. Shh. Is that necessary? Go away.
Yeah.
Just sit down.
Because
Be quiet.
The thing about it is, it's like I'm a one man band, and I know everything that's supposed to happen. Like how you
Yeah.
felt when you were trying to do reaction videos. You're like you couldn't get around the technical hurdle,
Yeah.
right? I have to know 20 different jobs. You know what I'm saying? It's like what I'm doing is normally divided amongst multiple people. So I'm having to think about all those operations at once while everyone else is fucking around and having a good time. So I have to make sure this does not go wrong, especially when you're going
Yeah.
live with an audience. Like we've had a peak of 5,000, concurrent viewers at a certain point. It's like I need to make sure this doesn't break for some reason, you know.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but like once the show gets going, then I feel good and my personality can kick on to the happy guy, and that's who I
Yeah.
actually am. The serious guy takes over to make sure nothing goes wrong. If that makes any kind of
Yeah.
sense.
Well, like the first time I met you, you were having literally the worst day
Oh
ever.
yeah. I was working. Well, we can't talk about that too much. We're gonna do it in a video, but like
Yeah.
we met through casting, and it was just like I was having a bad day because I don't want things to go wrong, and it was going very wrong.
And like he didn't even remember me the first time he met me, although apparently he was trying to hit on me. But like I remembered him because of the energy when he came out of the casting room and he was just like, you guys, just listen to me. If you do what I say, you will be in and out.
It wasn't like
Okay.
that.
It was pretty
It
bad.
wasn't like that.
It was pretty bad. And I just remember thinking, I was like, oh man, this guy is having a bad day. Like I thought I was having a bad day because I'd been waiting there for like over an hour. And I was like, God damn, why is this audition taking so long? Do I stay? Do I leave? Like, what do I do at this point? Like, I have a job to get to in like an hour. But yeah, I was like, this guy's having a worse day than I am.
I
Jeez.
wear my heart on my sleeve is the way we put it in the States.
Yeah.
I have no filter. I
Your
don't know how to.
your resting bitch face is just out there for the world.
I don't know how to hide it. I try so hard to hide it, but it's very difficult. When I'm having a mood, I don't know how to put a smile on top of it. I have a terrible poker face. Just like,
Yeah.
I need someone like Achara around to keep everything copacetic while I sort everything out. I used to do a podcast show with my best friend Sintel, and while I was running around sorting things out, like a guest or two would come in, and he would be like just smiling, sipping his beer. He's like, just chill out. He's like this right now. Once the show starts, he'll be fine. Don't take it personally.
Yeah.
So,
That's,
you
yeah.
just want to make sure things are going right. But so to answer your question is off camera is a little bit different if I'm like struggling with something technically. But once the show is
Yeah.
rolling, I'm myself like I am with you right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like I've been hosting these lives, and then I was invited as a guest on a couple of lives, and it's so much more free because you can just be, and like I mean, for me, I love being an idiot, right? On like just being silly and stupid. So I did one random live, which is with Rahul Subramanian and Kumar Varun, and it was just 1.5 hours of us doing absolute nonsense, and it was so freeing because you didn't have to go like, "There's a super chat being read. Who's the next guest? Insta Mojo PayPal. Best. Should I read the numbers they're paying or no?" It's like, and then also to make sure that the tech is fine and blah blah blah. By the way, Akash Dhanasekar has given US $4.99 to say, Sorabh bhai, it's Jaby, not JB. Is that correct? Have I been saying it wrong all
Yeah.
along?
Every Indian celebrity says my name wrong. Every
So
single
what
one.
is it?
Jaby, like jab,
Jaby.
Jabby. No, but
Ah,
you're not the only one though, because every single Indian celebrity says JB.
JB like baby.
Yeah,
right.
Vicky Kaushal corrected me on how to say Uri and Vicky Kaushal, his
Yes.
name, but he called me JB, and I was fine.
It's okay, Vicky. We love you.
Yeah, I was fine. Vicky Kaushal's another interview that was like fucking
Yeah.
amazing.
That was awesome.
Because it's just interesting to hear from Indian celebrities who are like, because he's like, dude, I am such a huge fan. When my trailer drops, I'm just like, what are these guys doing? Are they asleep? What's going on? Why haven't they reacted yet? Like hearing his response to it, it's just like it's trippy to know what kind of an effect you have on other parts of the world.
Right.
It's like it blows my mind to no end. So very, very nice guy.
But that's so
sorry.
interesting that's almost become part of the game sort of is reaction video. Like
Yeah.
if you're dropping a trailer and people are not reacting, you're like, fuck, does this trailer suck? Like nobody's reacted in the last 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the new game.
Well, one of the things we run into though is sometimes it'll get blocked or something like that, and so we have to tweet
Right.
at the celebrities, who then get it
Yeah.
unblocked. It's the
Yeah.
trippiest thing. So like, okay, we have the Tiger Shroff music video that we did a reaction to recently. Tiger
Right.
Shroff himself told me to do a reaction. The man himself. I'm like, all right, dude, but are you? I don't want to bother him, so I'm like, but like, what if it gets blocked? And he goes, it won't get blocked. Don't worry about it. So I put up the reaction, and invariably it gets blocked. And I text him. I'm like, it got blocked, dude. He's like, okay, I'll take care of it. So he gets it released, and then it gets blocked again. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Tiger, it got blocked again. I don't mean to bother you. and then he's like, I don't know what's going on his end, but he obviously kicked someone in the ass because it got cleared.
Yeah.
No pun intended. It got cleared, and we got to put our reaction up. But it's like, even when this huge celebrity is giving me permission to do his music video reaction, I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
Like, that's how much red tape there is, especially around music. That's where it gets really complicated, is music.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they have apparently they have an auto strike policy.
Yeah.
Like, so I was doing this thing called Sorabh Reviews Anything, and I'd used, I was talking about TikTok, and in one of the TikToks, somebody had used I'm a Barbie girl in the TikTok for like, I'm not exaggerating, 2 seconds.
Oh
And that
God.
video is still claimed by whichever music
Yeah.
channel, and they are monetizing on it. And I'm like, that's a 2 second bit in like a 7.5 minute video. Um,
Yeah.
but that the interesting
Edit it
takeaway
out.
from this is that
Edit
yeah,
it out, dude. Just edit it out.
it's like 2 years back now. I'm like, it's done. I don't think anybody's watching me talk about TikTok in India right now. If it was
Yes, they
banned, then
are.
I mean, yeah.
Yes, they are. TikTok is still a hot conversation right now. I guarantee. Just cut out that 2 seconds. You'll get your monetization back.
I'm going to do that. And by the way, isn't TikTok wasn't dude? And by the way, this is so interesting to me how India and the US reacts to things, right? So India is like, we're banning TikTok, and the US is like, no, we will try and figure out how we can profit from it as a company. And then Oracle or whatever's like, yeah, we'll buy it out and make money of it. And I'm like, that's such an interesting difference of reaction, which is like one is emotional and the other is like, let's figure out a way we can profit from it. So, yeah.
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 By the way, I just want to say, so I'll just take your response. I just want to say, please like and subscribe to the stream. Arnab Banerjee has given US $2 to remind me to say this. So I really appreciate that.
Aw.
See, this is why Arnab is my best friend. Please, if you're watching the stream, please like and subscribe. We do this pretty much 4 times a week. The next one's going to be on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. I haven't figured out the guest lineup for the next week because I've been very busy, but it'll be happening. So thanks, Arnab, for reminding me. And also thanks to Neeraj Krishnan, US $5 again. Neeraj, very good man. Appreciate your business. Kaustubh Bhalerao says Sorabh OP, Jaby and Achara OP. No, so Jaby. See, saying it correct.
That's fine, man.
Jaby and
Jaby.
It's
Achara
fine.
OP. Yeah.
But
Dude, even,
you just
even I
mentioned
have one of those names. Yeah.
you mentioned something interesting just now, and I have a question. Hopefully, this doesn't like go into a weird place. Like TikTok getting banned. I see that move as similar to the black money demonetization. It's just
Right.
sudden. So is that an
Right.
Indian thing or is that a Modi thing?
I think it's more of an internet thing right now. So what essentially happened was that when I mean, I don't know what the correct word to say is at the border altercations that happened, which were horrific and stuff like that. If you've been following what happened, is that essentially they're not allowed, from both sides made a decision, India and China, to not use weapons at the border. But there were 50 some deaths total on both sides. And the way Indian soldiers were killed was that the Chinese soldiers were armed with rods with nails, sorry, baseball bats with barbed wire and nails and stuff like that. So it was a horrific situation. So a lot of not only Indian soldiers, but a lot of people who sort of live in Ladakh. There's a guy called Sonam Wangchuk, who was the inspiration for the movie and the movie Three Idiots. He is in Ladakh and he spoke about how uh, Indians should start boycotting Chinese products. So there was a lot of pressure from people, and also there was also the practicalities involved of India and China trade, because there's a lot, right? India's
Yeah.
export, 3% of our export goes to China, and I think with regards to medicine, there's a lot of incoming from China, which is pivotal specifically right now. So you had to do something, right? You had to do something to make a point or whatever it was, and yeah, so I think that's where this came from. I think the government, whichever the government was, they would have had to do something. Whether it was Modi or somebody else, in this particular
Yeah.
situation, they would have had to do something. And I think that was what the reaction was.
That's crazy to me because it hurt a lot of Indians at the same time
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they were there. That was their bread and butter. That was their income.
Yeah.
yep,
So I guess no matter what move, someone was gonna get hurt. But like, I
yeah,
remember hearing about the black money demonetization thing, and just
hmm,
like how that affected people. Um,
yeah,
and I'm still, I mean, Achara's perspective on it is a little bit different than mine. When we were in India,
hmm,
I was convinced that we were going to get kidnapped. There was an instance. It was at Mumbai.
It was a Mumbai
It was in
airport.
Mumbai.
Yeah.
The short of it is that there were these very, very aggressive taxi drivers who were trying to take us to our hotel supposedly. But one of the guys, the guy who said he was going to take us, we got to the parking lot. The agreed upon exchange was, we'll drive you, we'll take you to your hotel, but you'll have to do a money trade with us. So
hmm,
like a currency exchange. Like Okay, so if we have $200, he'll give us the equivalent in rupees, right?
Right.
And so we get to the parking garage, and he's standing there, just like not doing anything. I'm like, "What are you doing? Where's your car?" He's like, "No, the driver's coming." I'm like, "I thought you were the driver." He goes, "No." Full stop. It's like he doesn't say
Wow.
anything else. And I look at Achara, I'm like, "No." She's like, "No." I'm like, "No." And so we just walk away. And the guy's like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And I go, "We changed our mind. Our friend's coming to pick us up." He goes, "No, no, no, but like everything was fine a moment ago. What's going on?" I go, "Our friend's gonna come get us." He's like, "But everything was fine." I'm like, "Dude, no matter how many times you ask me, the answer is no." And he's like, "Okay, fine." And he
Right.
walked away. But Achara thinks that it was just going to be a trade of bad money.
Yeah,
Not
I
that.
reckon that they
Yeah.
weren't going to kidnap us. I think that they were going to just give us a bunch of black money that they couldn't get rid of because we're stupid tourists and we wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah.
But luckily we didn't go for that.
Yeah. So
How long back was this?
Like 3 years
This was around the
ago.
time of demonetization.
Yeah, like
Okay, at that time itself.
right after it happened. Yeah.
2017.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's that. I mean, there's so many other instances like this happening all across India around that time. It's
Yeah.
not even funny. I met a friend, not a friend. I won't reveal too much. Anyway, there was somebody who is a high, like pretty big business person. I mean, and there's a lot of them. There's like in the top 400-500 industrialist people in the country. And I was talking to them about something, and it just stumbled out of their mouth. They're like, we found out the night before about it, and I was like, sorry, wait, what did you say?
Yeah.
What is this information you've just provided to me without knowing that you provided it? They're like, no, no, no. What I meant was we found out when it happened. I was like, wait, it's too late to say what you just said. But there's so many stories. I met a guy who told me that he was a driver, and this is the story he told me. I'm just saying the story. I'm not saying that this is what may have happened. I'm just saying this is what somebody told me. He said that this guy had so much cash that he gave him briefcases of money, like briefcases of cash. Told him to put it in the car, and he's like, briefcases means like no, sorry, no, brief suitcases of money, massive suitcases of money, and he's like, take this money, and then he gave him a briefcase which was the money for bribes in case he gets caught, and he's like, just take this car and take the briefcases, and the guy said that he had 6 briefcases of cash, and the amount in the briefcase itself was 12 lakhs, and the suitcases were about 6 times larger than that. So he's like, the total amount of cash I was carrying in that car was up to about 4 crores, which is about 750,000 USD. And he's like, I'm
Jesus.
like, what did you do? He's like, I just went to my village, and behind my house, I just parked the car and covered it, and it stayed that way for 3 weeks. And I'm not even going to say how he whitewashed the cash. I'm just saying he donated it to certain entities, and
Yeah.
that's all that happened. And how it got whitewashed, I won't get. So there was a lot of that kind of stuff happening. So the kind of confusion that was created by demonetization was quite a lot. And the thing is that, so I mean, coming back to the TikTok thing, right? The people celebrating the ban of TikTok, I can understand that you're celebrating it as. I mean, I will understand that you're celebrating it as that, hey, we've shown China something, fine, whatever, that's okay. But if you're saying, great, TikTok got banned because I hate TikTok, that's fucking stupid. Because as you said, there's like, I think there were 500 people who were employed by TikTok in India. Second, there is at least 3,000-4,000 families that are running on TikTok in India. So that's essentially the unemployment of whatever 8,000 people in the country in the time of a pandemic. So suddenly they have to reconfigure how to live their lives out of nothing. And so just because you dislike an app, and the way I always look at these things is that it could happen to stand up in India. Like
Yeah.
it could literally be
Yeah.
somebody saying that, hey, listen, we fucking hate these stand-up comedians, and great, glad they're banned. So don't celebrate something just because you don't like it, as opposed to whatever. So I still have patience for people saying that, fine, we had to do something against China, great, but don't say it from that other POV. So yeah.
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 Right.
I agree with you,
What
man.
yeah, what else happened on that trip that you, so that was the time you thought you were, which city was this, by the way, where you thought you were going to be kidnapped?
Mumbai.
Mumbai. Um,
Wow.
I have to use the restroom. So,
Yeah.
I can't believe you
Oh no,
made
no.
it
So
this long.
let's end this. I
well, I
think this
do,
is
I
too
do,
us. So it's
I do have a thing I
yeah,
want to tell you about the one
yeah,
other thing that happened in India. I just let me use the restroom. I'll be right back.
yeah.
I'll be right back. It has to do with
Cool.
Goa. I'll be right back.
Oh,
Oh, Goa?
man,
Well,
we're gonna know
the
about Goa.
flight.
Oh, the flight.
Wasn't there the flight
Yeah,
to
that was
Goa?
that.
Yeah, I'll be right
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
Just give
yeah.
me 2 seconds.
Yeah. I'm just gonna read to. There's a lot of pending. Manu Talwar, welcome to level 1 membership. Appreciate it. I'm gonna read one more comment. Kajol Agarwal is very active out there. These guys should react to Trump and Modi song. Have you guys seen East India Comedy do the Trump and the Modi song? I don't know if
Yeah.
it's relevant or not.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you guys
I know
have.
I watched the Trump song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that Trump and Modi? I don't remember. It was a long time
Okay.
ago.
I think the Modi one would probably have a lot of inside jokes. So, I mean,
Yeah,
like jokes which are, yeah.
we might not understand them all. Sometimes we miss a lot in the comedy.
Yeah. You
I
know,
remember
it's
when
after
we
talking to
watched
you guys. No, go ahead,
no,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, when we watched Stree, there was so much comedy that we just didn't understand, and it was just like kind of frustrating because we're in the auditorium and all these Indians are laughing, and then we're just like, we wanna laugh too. What was funny? I don't get it. Ah, that's what I said. Stree. Yeah, yeah.
So with three also what happened was that three is because there's a video that I'll send you guys. It's a scoop poop unscripted video, which sort of comes to the crux of three, which is about superstition, right?
Right.
So which is very prevalent all across small towns and villages in India, where because of nothing else to believe in, people believe in a lot of crazy superstitions. And there's a video of uh, it's basically a guy gets accused of murdering somebody in the family, and so what they do is that they get two I don't even know what the word is. Two lawyers of the ghost world to
Huh?
talk about. Yeah, so it's basically the family of the murdered person. They get one guy who represents them, who talks to the ghost of the person who died, and the other person who talks to another ghost who dies, and they have a court case happening with ghost speakers or whatever it is. And
Oh my God, that's
the
great
audience,
content.
it, oh my god, you got to see the video. And so there's a lot of that. There's a lot of people thinking they're possessed, and the psychological explanation being that it's largely women in villages who don't get the attention that they crave or just need as human beings. And so I'll send you the videos. You guys got to see those videos and react to it. It's quite crazy.
Uh,
But yeah,
So, all right.
let's hear the story. Yeah.
Okay, so what we were coming back from Goa or we were going to Goa?
We were going to Delhi from Goa.
We were going to Delhi from Goa. And what happened was Achara sits down, I sit down. What flight was this? Was it Air India? No,
I
I
forgot.
forgot what it was. But
It was probably Jet. We used Jet.
so I'm sitting there and I'm just trying to relax because like flying makes me a little nervous. So I'm just trying to relax there, and then I keep feeling this kicking over and over again. And I'm thinking, well, surely someone's just getting into their seat and this is gonna stop. And I keep getting kicked. I'm like, what the hell? So I'm trying to figure out the easiest way to communicate without talking. Stop what you're doing. So I pull on the
Yeah.
lever of the thing and I lay back. And this guy comes into my face and he goes, "Oh, you can't do that. My wife's right there with her baby." I go, "Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No worries." I sit back up. I keep getting kicked again. And I'm like, I lean back again. He's like, you can't do that. Like, my wife's there. And I'm like, well, someone keeps kicking me. And he goes, "That's my baby."
Yeah.
I go,
Yeah.
"Well, could you turn the baby so it's not kicking me in the back?" He goes, "No, I can't do that." I'm like, "What do you mean you can't do that?"
The
Like,
baby's two.
the baby, like,
By the way.
you're like, your baby keeps kicking me in the back. Like, is it possible for like the baby to move or whatever? He's like, "If you didn't want to deal with this, you should have got a business class ticket." I'm like, "Oh, you're a great fucking father, aren't you?" And so his face is this close to my face. And I'm thinking, this guy is twice my age. I have more strength, more agility than him. I can kick his ass. But I'm in India. He's Indian and I'm not. I could get deported. And I really
Yeah.
don't want to get deported. We're on a plane. I want to enjoy myself. So I just back off. and I just let it be. And then he keeps kicking me for a while, but then eventually he makes it stop. But like, I almost got into a fist fight. I haven't been in a fist fight, like a proper fist fight, since I was a little kid. So you have to understand how serious I was taking the situation.
I was scared. I was like, Jaby, don't. You don't want to end up in jail in India.
Yeah.
That's a bad idea.
So, like, there was part of me that wanted to put this information on the internet, but even back then, I was like, that's such a bad idea. I could ruin this guy's life by putting his photo out there. Why do that? So I just swallowed it. I swallowed my pride and I let it go. But I almost got into a fist fight in India over this because this guy's making his accident everyone's problem. So like, you decided to have the baby, not me, you asshole. God.
I have 2 kids, and it's like this is one of the things that you're constantly conscious of in a plane, right? So one is the baby crying, right?
Mhm.
So the baby crying is something that I realized is because of air pressure and stuff like that. So before having kids, I was like, these fucking kids, these bloody crying bastards. Why don't they go on the wing of the plane and start singing? And then I realized the air pressure thing. That's so interesting. It's so interesting that my daughter, I think we were flying to somewhere, and my daughter started crying. And so interesting, I realized the like empathy, right? Where the number of people who were trying to distract. So there was people getting pissed off. There was this one guy who was in front of us, and what he started doing was, this was the seat. He just started going like, and all this kind of stuff. And my daughter was like, and she stopped, like, it distracted her. And I'm like, this is such an interesting thing. But the baby kicking thing is something that, as a parent, like, my son did this once, and I'm like, just stop doing it. And he's like, okay. I'm like, oh yeah, they also understand things. They're not idiots, so they can't understand.
Well,
like,
that's
not
the
the thing in front of them.
That's the thing. Like he was all like, oh, he's a baby. He can't. I'm like, dude, no, your kid's like 2. I know 2-year-olds. I've babysat 2-year-olds. I can tell a 2-year-old, stop that. And they'll stop it because they know it's wrong. So I'm like, no, that's not an excuse.
It was one of the. Go ahead. Sorry.
So I mean, this is, but I completely understand it. So one of the things as a parent that you're constantly conscious of is that you don't inconvenience other people as far as you can. It's a very normal thing to think of.
Yeah.
But dude, you don't wanna. I'll tell you a story. Okay. So I was flying, and this is a India plane story. I was flying to, was it Dibrugarh or somewhere? I was flying. Okay, and I had the window seat. And now the thing is that, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you have the window seat, that's your domain. This is your kingdom. You've paid extra money to get the goddamn window seat, and the window is yours to do whatever the fuck you want with, right? Like, unless it's inconveniencing somebody and there's like sun and whatever shit. So I'm like, hey, this is my kingdom, this is my window. So what I like to do is that when I'm in the plane, once the plane takes off, I close the window so that I can take a nap, because like air pressure allows me to sleep and all that shit. So I lie down. It's a long flight. I lie down. I close the window, and this one guy who's sitting in the aisle leans across. Okay, hand on my chest, opens the window. I'm like, sorry, what? He's like, I want the window. I'm like, I don't want the window. It's my window. And he's like, just okay. Looks back. I shut the window. Again, I'm sleeping. Again, he fucking does that. So I'm like, what the fuck is happening, right? And this goes on throughout the fucking flight. Throughout the flight, every time I open the window, he's like, close the window. When I'm closing the window, he's open. And what I start noticing is a very simple thing. I'm sitting here, his wife is next to me, he's sitting here. Slightly big, burly man, seems very entitled. I'm like, this is going to be interesting. Each time he says anything to me, there are 3 people in front and 3 people behind. All of them turn to us. And I'm like, maybe this is just an instinct to see, hey, where is this fight going to go? Let's have some fun. But I'm like, this is something weird. Some fucking weird shit is happening. So I get into an argument with him. I'm like, listen, this is my window seat. I paid extra money for it. So please just mind your own business. And he's like, no, we are also passengers and you listen. I'm like, you're fucking shoving your hand in my chest repeatedly. And also I feel surrounded, and I'm just somehow swallow my pride. And I have a very irritating flight when I'm just angry and fucking furious for 3.5 hours. I land. Guy steps out. And when we're exiting the airport, he's garlanded by multiple people. And I realize he's one of the politicians in this area. And I'm like, I am so fucking glad I didn't do anything. I didn't fucking get into a massive altercation with him, because this guy basically, we were surrounded by his goons. And I'm like, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm
my
glad.
God.
In any situation, I'm like fucking just swallow your shit, and because you never know. And he's a politician in, I think it was Dibrugarh. I'm not sure which city I landed in. I've forgotten the flight sequence. But dude, then this is one of the things which in India is the most fucking frustrating. I don't know if this happened to you guys. Is dealing with people cutting lines in India.
No one did that to us, but like I know that there's a famous Thai video now where this Thai lady was complaining about Chinese people cutting in front of her.
Yeah, like I don't
Oh
know if you've
my
ever
god,
seen
dude! Fuck! Oh
that
my
viral
god! Listen,
video.
so every time I think that Indians are crazy at line cutting, I meet Chinese people and I'm like, okay, we are okay.
Yeah.
Because this is so much. Dude, this is one of my favorite stories. Like I was in Bangkok and we land and we have a visa on arrival, right? So there are two lines. So I'm like, hey, I'll go in this line. My wife will go in the other line because like that's what you do, right? And so my wife is standing in the line. She doesn't travel as much as I do. My line is longer than hers. She looks, turns to me and smiles. And I'm not exaggerating. 18 Chinese people cut in front of her just because she got distracted for 3 seconds. I'm like, this is tough. So, yeah, but sorry, you were saying about the Chinese thing. Sorry, please go ahead.
Oh
I beat
yeah,
you
no,
guys.
I mean
It was that. It was
it's pretty
that.
much
But it was that. But with like
worse.
1,800 Chinese people. It was like
No,
this Thai lady was in line just trying to like get on her flight, and
no,
then
no. It was for the, you know how you can get your VAT back at the airport.
oh, okay,
So it
gotcha.
was that. But she was just like, she was so livid because, and she like posted it because she was all like, do you see these people? They're animals. They're animals. Like they can't even form an orderly queue. Oh my god. And because Thai people are so orderly, right? Like you tell us to do anything and it's like, oh, get in line. Okay. Wear a mask because it's a pandemic. Yeah, we'll all do it. That's fine. No problem. But yeah, so we just get mad.
We still have to do our review for Made in Heaven, and it's after midnight, so we're gonna have to sign
Yeah,
off
that's so
now.
sorry. You guys have been very, very patient, and this has been very indulgent. So thank you so much, JB and Jaby. No, sorry, Jaby. There you go, Jaby. I'm gonna remember Jaby. Like you know how I explained my name to people who were introducing me on stage in the US. I'm like Sorabh Pant, and they're like, great, you get it. Like yeah. So Jaby is perfect.
So
Dude,
rough.
thanks a lot for your time. I'm so glad we got to do this. I'm so glad we found the time, and thanks a lot for. I mean, most people watching this probably already subscribed to you, but there's anything you guys would like to plug, please feel free. Anything that's happening coming up.
Yeah, just subscribe if you can. Follow on the Instagrams, and if they want to see more American related stuff, because sometimes people get confused that are new to the channel. They're like, "Why are you only doing Indian content?" It's like that's what this channel's for. So
We have a
Right.
separate channel
yeah,
that does American
yeah. So
content. You can go there.
if they want to see American related content reviews and whatnot, there's Get Jaby, youtube.com/Get Jaby, and if they want to see stuff related to Thailand, Korea, maybe China sometimes. There's youtube.com/JabyTV. So
So
that's
I'll put
Asia.
the link in the description and the comments, so you guys can just head there and subscribe. Thanks a lot for your time, guys. Really appreciate it. I know this is very long, but yeah, I usually I keep going until people get frustrated and they're like, "Okay, we are done now. Can we go?" That's my strategy.
It was a lot of
And
fun.
thanks a
Thank
lot,
you for
guys.
having us.
Thank you so much, guys. And what we've learned from today's show is that farts are measured in liters. That's the thing we
Yes.
must take away with us and remember this. So, yeah.
500 milliliters of farts a day, everyone.
Cool, guys. I'm just going to say some goodbyes. You guys can turn off your videos. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good day, good night, and sleep well. And wind in your wings is something I've started to say.
All right,
See you guys.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Cool. I'll just read a couple more super chats which are there. Chirag Nagpal says, Sorabh get Sumit Anand and Manik Mana. I haven't asked Manik actually. I think it all depends on if people want to come or no. T. Omi has given thanks a lot for your Australian $5. Jaby Achara needs to sing. Sorry, she's already gone. I apologize for that. Last couple of things before we leave. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Become members as well. There's a membership thing. If you become a member and if you become a level 3 member, then tomorrow, which is Monday at 8 p.m., we have members only for besties. We have a members only open mic night with a bunch of stand-up comedians testing out jokes. So that's going to be tomorrow at 8 p.m. So if you become a bestie, you can do that. Please do that. And Justin Matthew, thanks a lot for telling me to clarify the names and whoever paid the money to have me ask that. Again, tonight, which is today at 5 p.m., I am doing a show, which is a show for what's it called? For the international audiences. So whether you're in Hong Kong, Singapore, US, Middle East, wherever you are, you can basically catch the show. Sorabh.com is tickets. It's Traveling Pants 2.0, which is going to be 2 hours of stand-up plus a meet and greet and stuff. It's going to be fun. Please come. And yeah, please subscribe to this channel, guys. Again, we're going to be continuing this Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Took a break last week, but going to be starting Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't know the lineup for Tuesday, but it'll be something about the IPL. So please come see that. And thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Please subscribe. And thanks to Jaby and to Achara. Please subscribe to their channel as well. Thanks to all the new members. Welcome to the membership and all that stuff. I'll see you guys tonight at 5 p.m. IST is the show. Come see that, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the open mic and Tuesday once again for normal stuff. A lot of people have told me to get on Discord. I am an old boomer person. I'm trying to figure it out, and I will try and figure it out. Thanks to Kajol. Thanks to Niharika, Manav, and Sharanya. Was Sharanya there today? Yeah, I'll thank her anyway. Thanks to everybody tuning in. See you guys. I'll see you guys soon. Manav, say fast what do you have to say, Manav. Say what do you have to say fast. 1 second. What is it, Manav? Say. What is it? What are you asking me, Manav? Yeah. I just said subscribe. I already said subscribe. Oh, yeah,
just tell
also,
them
there
the
is,
number of people we have watching is 63.7% people who have not subscribed. What the hell, guys? Just subscribe.
You heard it from the voice of God. If the rest of the 63% people, please subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of stuff coming up, guys. Genuinely a lot of stuff. We put out 4 videos, 4 YouTube videos per YouTube lives per week. A lot of fun stuff coming up. I'm going to line up some good stuff in the following week. So please subscribe. And also for those of you who want to see short snippets of it, I'm going to put that also in the description and the comments. There's a separate channel called Wake Up with Sorabh. You can head there and check out snippets and stuff like that as well. That's about it, guys. That's my goodbyes. I'll see you soon. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Goodbye. Take care of yourselves. Love you all. And tell me, where is Salman Khan?